Yep. Yes. Yes. Okay. Cool. Awesome. All right. Let me see if this is. So I'm testing this out. This is the first time I ever did a multi-stream. So this is right now streaming to Twitch with twitch.tv/thepirater and streaming on PeerTube Spectra.video /c/thepirater. At least that's the channel. But yeah, hey guys, you don't know me. I'm the Pirater, your favorite pirate VTuber. Yeah, thank you. Roguishly charming, dastardly good. But yeah, we got a few videos lined up. And it's just the spirit of the PeerTube and the Fediverse and decentralization shit. I got a few videos lined up. One from the Waveform podcast, Bluesky vs. Threads, the Fediverse Explained. I feel like I watched this when it first came out, like 6 months ago, I guess. Some of the React content from Tech Alter about the same stuff a little bit. That's later on. And pay $200 for an alpha male coaching. So yeah, let's just do a React stream today. Basically, because I don't. First off, my computer's running out of space, so and I'm recording this also to go also on the VOD channel for YouTube and probably the VOD channel for PeerTube. So I'm trying to, as soon as I can, and if the admins let me, for PeerTube, I'm going to try to put most of my backlog of videos for my VODs on a PeerTube. Yeah, I don't really have them saved as any titles because it's been over a year and a half, I guess, since I started doing VTubing, roughly. I wasn't really consistent overall, but this year I've been more consistent just because kind of have to a little bit. And overall, if I have to leave for any reason, it's probably because I have to take a shit. Because your boy took a lot of protein powder like an hour or so ago. Did a little workout earlier. Then I took protein powder after that. Because I was like, yeah. And then I was like, wait, I want to stream. So it took me a bit, some time to set this up. But yeah, here I am. How's everybody doing? Yeah. We're going to see how this works. Really the best way to donate to me is probably my Ko-Fi, which is accept one-time donations and memberships. I think I have 5, 10, and whatever the tiers are. I can't really remember. You could be a seller, a seaman, or a crew member, I think. But yeah, those are the tiers I have. Do you get any rewards for it? Currently, no. Just your gracious support and my forever gratitude, basically, for being a sub. You can also sub to me on Twitch. Twitch Free Prime sub. I accept those too. Gift subs too. Overall, what was I gonna say? I accept all types of monetary donations. But yeah, mostly Ko-Fi is probably the big one. Ko-Fi or my Throne list. Just because, again, like I said, I'm running out of storage, and surprisingly, 10 terabytes. And a couple other, 4 terabytes external hard drive, 10 terabytes in a server, and 2 terabyte SSD. Not really, you think damn, it's a lot of storage. Not really. I have some other storage things I could use, but it's more temporary solutions. Because my backlog of VODs, by the way, is about 400 gigs. I barely have that. I have that on my server, but then I'll be running out of space on my server as well. So I'm going to need an upgrade soon. So if you want to hop on over and give me some either refurbished hard drives or whatever, I will take it. And, thank y'all And thank Spectra Video for hosting me up on their PeerTube instance and accepting my request. So this is awesome. I should have changed all my links from my old PeerTube instance, which was link peertube.wtf. I still donate to them, and because I still have some videos hosted up there for now. And yeah, probably when that donation runs out, I will switch over and donate to spectra.video. And if you are on the Fediverse, I do recommend donating to all the your admins just for server costs and stuff like that, especially because let's be honest, video costs a lot of money to host, and this stream is probably going to go on for a few hours at least. And yeah, and if I keep streaming here, I think there'll be a lot of content uploaded here. Yeah, so yeah, because all I have to do is just upload the content. I'm not even serving videos mostly. The cool thing about PeerTube though is I think the more people on that watch the live stream through there, I think it helps the stream somehow, or it shares videos, the bandwidth, it helps the bandwidth or something like that when people are viewing it live. But yeah. Good. Thank y'all, everybody. I'm testing this out. I think I posted this on my Mastodon and my my Twitter, because I still have a Twitter for VTubing. Yeah, I mean for the most part. Not gonna go well. I don't think it's gonna go. Yeah. Honestly, okay. And also, I gotta be honest with you, everybody. DMing people or following people and then be like, hey, I want you to commission me. Great. I'm gonna be completely honest. I am a broke person right now, so probably no commissions. Sorry. I do occasionally will hire commissions, but that is not in my cards right now. Maybe later, because it's just not happening right now. If I do commissions, it's probably going to be. Let me turn my mic down a little bit. Commissions are probably going to happen a bit down more when this is actually more profitable for me. Because I got to be honest, it's it's a different type of thing that kind of goes on here, So yeah, really hoping the stream for everybody's good. I think PeerTube might be a little bit lacking behind stuff. That's okay for me. The Ko-Fi stream bot, that's cool. Visit the Predator's Ko-Fi page at ko-fi.com/thepredator. Do I not have? Where's my... The chat is... Oh, yeah, the chat working. That's weird. Okay, maybe I just didn't... Maybe it went away. So, maybe I'm crazy. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's get to the video already, right? Thanks what y'all are here for. Me, I'm just a weird fox. A fox. A wolf. Pirate. But I am kind of foxy. All right, let's get to it. All right. We'll see how this goes.
Really quick fun fact before we start to get you guys freaking hyped about this.
Perfect.
The CEO of Bluesky's name is Jay Graber, but their given name is Lantian, which in Mandarin means blue sky. And that is a complete coincidence.
It's cool.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. She was hired for it after Jack Dorsey had already named it Blue Sky.
That's incredible.
What if Jack just really knew he was going to pick her?
Does Jack know Mandarin? Because that might explain it.
Yeah,
Dude, have you seen Silicon Valley?
Who named Blue Sky?
Jack Dorsey.
And he named it before knowing this person.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
I know.
Unbelievable.
I know. I told you.
By the way, I think one of these, they should all be at South by Southwest. I think there's going to be a Fediverse thing going on there. So sign up, stop by. You think? Check out with these guys, chill out with these people.
Welcome back to another episode of the Waveform Podcast. We're your hosts.
I'm your host on this very special episode of the bonus episode of the Waveform Podcast 2024.
What's your name?
Yeah, that's
David.
That's David. And I'm Marquez.
And I'm Andrew.
And today we are going to dive extremely deep into the Fediverse.
The cheese land. And
The cheese land, the land of federated cheeses,
Cool.
of which there are many. Okay.
I got so much water
A lot
just
of people
knocked
have
up in
been
here. I
asking
got my
us
water bottle.
questions about what the heck the Fediverse is. There's this word that keeps getting swirled around the internet, up and down and left and right.
I got a cup of water
Talking
next to me
about
too.
this. Threads is adopting it. People don't know how it works. So today, we decided to do a deep dive episode.
Yeah.
This episode is probably unofficially called Protocol Wars. There are many Protocol Wars, but this is the
Unofficially,
Protocol
as the
Wars
title's called, Blue Sky vs. Threads.
Activity Pub and the Protocol.
Is there going to be a winner, or we don't know yet? We don't
So,
know who the winner is.
There's
yet.
no winner.
Okay.
There may be a winner.
Seeing
in 20
this
years.
It's an
6
actively
months
fought war.
later is a bit telling.
Cool.
Yes.
I get it still.
Where'd the
Because
cheese come from?
so far, Threads has done not much else with the Activity Pub.
Would land.
They barely have federated
Wait,
shit.
we've been making this joke for months.
Yeah.
You've been sitting there all quiet.
It's. I get it.
Which is wild to me.
Perfect.
Well, not wild.
Yeah,
It's
so
yeah.
I've gone down this deep, dark rabbit hole.
It's
about
getting
Fediverse
hot in
and
this room, though.
Protocol, Interviewed a bunch of people and have
I might need
come
to turn the AC on.
Fedipilled, you might say.
Whoa.
Right now, I get the.
Activity pilled.
Meaning you've taken a side?
No,
he's
not
at
really.
pilled too.
At pilled as well.
Okay.
I haven't really taken a side. We will have a discussion about which protocol you think is better, because I'm going to lay out all the different things that these protocols do, what they're good at, what they're meant for, and then we can have a little bit of discussion around that.
Yeah.
Deal.
So, yep. You guys ready?
Deal.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay, so at the time of this recording, it's around mid-2024. And I know it probably doesn't seem like it, but Elon Musk bought Twitter a little over 2 years ago, and he rebranded it to X a little over a year ago. Now, by all accounts, this was a pretty controversial move, right? He immediately fired 80% of the staff, started charging for verification.
That he's doing the same fucking thing to the U.S. government. Yeah. I want to also do a video over, what is it, Curtis Yarvin or whatever the guy's name is. Because funnily enough, had software in a card Ubit or whatever. I was using it, not knowing who this person was. And then I'm like, oh, this shit sucks. Yeah, I don't know. Apparently he's not part of the foundation anymore, but Peter Thiel still gives them money, so it's still accessible to random shit.
Started paying people for engagement, and just generally, he really changed the vibe and the tone.
I do really wonder
throughout internet history, when there's a huge change in company policy, usually nothing really happens. People get upset for a while, but eventually they just go back to their regular habits. But sometimes the users can defect and move to an entirely different platform altogether. Like in May 2009, Facebook finally passed.
Here's my thing about this, right? Because I still feel like MySpace. I'm reading the screen. I still feel like Twitter does have that reach, right? It still has, I think what is it? Billions of people, billions of users, or whatever. I mean, how many of them are bots now? But if it's hard to it's really hard to leave once once you have an audience there, it's hard to leave, right? It's that whole social graph. Here's the thing. I kind of like what Bluesky is doing overall. That seems okay. If it was more decentralized, it'd be nice. Mastodon is decentralized. There is completely servers that are defederated, essentially. True Social is one of them, and then Gab, which years back, years back, years back, it was basically, I think this is when the first Fediverse block, really then kind of came into place. As far as I can remember, because I wasn't that involved with the Mastodon until 2022, I think, a few years ago. And even then, I wasn't actively. I kind of came when the move came, and I didn't even have an account. At least not one of these accounts for a while, because a lot of VTubers were still on Twitter, and even now, they're still on Twitter. I'm trying to make this as equal-ish as possible, as provide content on the Fediverse, content that I would want to see. I want to see fucking VTubers do jokes, have fun, and do React content, right? And I want to see that, but then I also want to connect people. And I think that I'm trying to have that balance, because it's all about the first people that get there. When I say that, I mean no one's going to show up to things without having some of the content that they want to see. I'm hoping eventually that I can bring some followers. If I have any followers, I have over 800 followers on Twitch. I'm hoping I can bring some of y'all with me to the Fediverse, or at least have an alt account or a account or something, either on PeerTube, Mastodon, or whatever, PixelFed, Lemmy, what is it, Kbin or whatever, Mbin, I can't remember what it's called. It might have been yeah. So, anyways, that's Miss Key is another one. It's not really that used in the West too often. It's more East uses a lot. So yeah. West uses mostly Mastodon. I think Bluesky is pretty cool. I've used Bluesky, Sharky, and Kalki was the other one, I think, or Firefish or something like that. I can't remember. Some of those. Way back, I used some of those. Those were always cool. Those were nice. Those were things. I like the features they had. Let me just what am I doing? I feel like I'm going through the whole rant, which is cool. But hey, guys, if you didn't know, I rant a lot and get off topic and derail myself. Yeah. Where does it go with this? I think it's a wonderful time. And here's the thing, right? Let's say I get people onto PeerTube, or I get people onto Mastodon, or whatever. The cool thing is, let's say I could have a pirater PeerTube server, essentially. And you guys could watch all my videos, all my VOD stuff on that server. And you could probably find other VTuber content in there. And they don't necessarily have to, join my server. they can just watch. Yeah, I'm trying here. Like they could just watch other VTubers that are also on PeerTube, on other PeerTube servers. Yeah, I'm really hoping to get some content. Like I think the server I'm on right now actually has like 1 or 2, at least, that upload consistently VTubers, and I think that is a cool thing. Yeah.
MySpace and users, partially because of how bad MySpace's user experience had gotten. Like, there was an influx of ads, it had a choppy UI, there was all these decisions that would eventually lead to their death spiral into oblivion. And in 2010, Dig redesigned its site in a way that felt so user hostile that most of the users actually pivoted over to Reddit and turned that into what it is today. This kind of defection doesn't really happen anymore, and that's primarily because of something called a social graph. Do you guys know what a social graph is?
In general, yeah. I'm familiar with the concept, which is like your social graph as a person on a social.
That was called, yeah, social graph.
You follow.
Oh, that's what I say. So one of the cool things I like, I kind of like Nostr. Nostr seems cool because it brings your, because you could set up a relay on Nostr basically really cheaply. Man, it saves all your posts and stuff like that. I think posts, likes, stuff like that. That's really nice. It's cool. I like it. I think the moderation could be better. And I feel like the whole platform is there to make money and like monetize things. And that's one reason where I'm like, I'm kind of hesitant to do that. Because that feels like it's incentivification, right? It's just crap. Like I care about, making money to an extent. I think we all need money to live in this current predicament. But overall, I think like you could watch me completely ad free on PeerTube. I'm not going to get any money from it through Twitch. Whatever. You could also subscribe to me on Ko-Fi, and I get a bigger percentage than when people subscribe on Twitch. Yeah, like I have the Ko-Fi there almost specifically because since I don't run ads on PeerTube, you can instead do that on, you could do that on Twitch, or you could do that on Ko-Fi instead of Twitch.
People who follow you, all the people you engage with, and just the general circle of engagement on social networks is your graph.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You have different social graphs on different networks. On Instagram, you have certain followers. On
Twitter, okay, I need to turn the AC on. Wait. Let's run. I'm gonna turn the AC on.
But the point is, people only really want to use a social network that has users on it, right? Like that's a recursive issue. A new social network pops up every other week, and some people will join, hoping that it's going to be the next big thing. But without a critical mass of users, those same people are just going to stop using that network, and it dies. So everyone stays in the same place, no matter what the company does to change their product. I mean, look at Reddit. Reddit gave a clear middle finger to its users by effectively shutting down its API and its third-party app community. And yet, traffic is currently exploding. So even though Twitter, now X, is still holding on, there was and still kind of is a reason to think that it could just go out of business at any time. If you cut a ton of your staff, that's a pretty risky business move. It was purchased for basically double more than it's worth. And Elon's been telling advertisers to go F themselves, which has left the site with not the highest quality.
Dude, okay, again, also, Twitter is like, dude, I don't even do that much politics on my fucking Twitter. I'm usually not even on Twitter unless it's to like post and I just kind of get off. I don't scroll too much on my timeline because I kind of like, I don't really care too much at this point. Overall, like who cares? I'm very much in the mindset of like, but these people are crazy. They're crazy.
Advertisers or probably revenue. If you're on X, you probably know what I mean.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself.
With money?
A few months around the acquisition of Twitter was pretty much the best possible opportunity anyone was going to get to transition Twitter users to a new platform. So a huge number of social networks popped up that were trying to take all of those users to their side of the internet. We got T2, which was run by a bunch of ex-Twitter employees that didn't go so well. Post News popped up, which was trying to change the ways we consumed information, and they've closed down. And other apps like Hive received some like temporary popularity, but
I had a Hive account. I got a personal Hive account for about 2 seconds. Like I made the account because I was like, okay, this is gonna be the next big thing. I'm gonna have my name on there. I didn't really post. Here's the difference on Mastodon. When I made an account for like my in person self, my real life self, I've been out there for a few years now. Like, it's been a while, and even this account is, I think, relatively. This account's, I think, almost a year old. I think it's been a while. And before this, I was trying to get on a VTuber instance of the VTuber server, but then I was also like, that would have made more. I mean, look, I love VTubers, obviously, but I think also trying to be in a instance or server where my whole local timeline is going to just be other VTubers trying to just talk about VTubing. That's cool. I will stick to Lemmy for that, like the alternative Reddit or the Reddit, because I'm basically trying to find people that like VTubing or don't know what VTubing is or don't know what the Fediverse is, and they want to watch me, or they want to just watch a silly guy play games or whatever, play games, react to content, be me. I don't know. Also, I think because the requirements for the VTuber thing was like be already kind of established, and I didn't have any videos uploaded at the time. Or wait, let me rephrase this. I didn't have any videos of my VTubing uploaded at the time. Obviously now I do. Obviously I've been streaming more often. I could have probably signed up, but I already had an account on like the main instance of Mastodon. I was like, yeah, yeah, we'll see how this goes. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure the admins over there are fine. I don't know if they changed it since I was going to apply a while ago, so I don't know. Yeah, all right. Single say. Okay, let's go with this.
Not nearly as much as they needed. But here's the thing. Like, Twitter was founded in 2006, Reddit in 2005, Facebook in 2004. Still pretty early on in the Web 2.0 era.
Yeah, that's
and whatever the next era.
Does anybody? Okay, that's like right after the .com bubble, by the way, y'all.
The
just
internet is,
like 5 or 6 years.
Wants it to be owned and operated by this small number of really powerful companies and really eccentric billionaires, for a lot of reasons. A lot of the companies that made it out of the early era of the internet eventually found pretty huge success. But it's been about 2 decades or so since then, and pretty much all of these platforms have, for the lack of a better word, and I'm paraphrasing here, been encrapified.
Okay, inshitification. Yeah, there we go. That's the word.
User experience in order to achieve unlimited growth.
And it somehow gets worse. You think it's at its worst already, and it gets worse.
It just keeps
every
getting
time
worse
somehow.
Yeah, like at this point, Facebook, giant land of AI.
He wearing the same. Wait. Is he wearing the same clothes? So the jacket and everything. Yeah. I think he is. Okay.
At this point, Facebook.
I really want to know if he recorded this like around the same time, like right before, or like I don't know.
Land of AI garbage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
have you been on Facebook lately?
Because you can tell it's like the documentary size like cut into the podcast.
Like,
it's just all AI generated garbage, and you think like, no one's looking at this, and it'll have like 10,000 comments.
Dude, okay, maybe I'm like like I was there right when Facebook was. Facebook's still big. I was there when Facebook was, big, but I'm not really on Facebook that much anymore. I think the only time I was really on Facebook a lot was when I'm looking for a job, because there's a couple of groups that still post jobs on Facebook. Or number two, I was, what's the word? Looking for a car, like Marketplace. Both were pretty okay. I think both actually turned out pretty okay for both those type of things. Because usually especially for like job stuff, if you know the person posting it, you basically already have a way in. You're like, okay. You're like, hey, I'm blah blah blah. I'm posting this blah blah. Funny enough, I think there's like 2 or 3 jobs on Mastodon I actually found about just through hashtags and stuff, and just people I followed where they reposted stuff or boosted things. Where I was like, oh, it's a job. I should apply. And I'm like, hey, just applied. Thank you. Or oh, cool. Do you know who set the job up or whatever, or do you know the company? Because I hate applying to jobs for like LinkedIn or something. They suck. So, yeah.
Comments
Yeah.
that are like, this is amazing. I
Yeah.
love this so
And the
much."
comments are all AI bots too.
Probably. Yeah.
Should we be engagement farming on Facebook? Are we missing an opportunity right now?
I don't think you get. I don't know. It's
Like clickbaiting.
My Instagram lately, the first post it always shows me is someone I don't follow. Has nothing to do
Oh,
with
the
it.
suggested shit. Yeah,
Or a
it gets
reason,
so
right?
annoying.
Expand your
A
graph.
reel from someone I don't.
Yeah, real from someone you don't follow.
My graph is shut down.
Yeah.
No one else is invited.
But really, are you really going to just move over to another centralized platform, hoping for dear life that your friends move over as well? And
Yeah, see,
hoping
that's
that
the
company has
big
your best
thing.
interest in heart and doesn't degrade in the exact same way as the other companies? Some people might, and a lot of people might try, but most people are just tired, okay? Like, nobody wants to start a new social media account over and over again, especially people with businesses that have staked their livelihoods.
Like, to be fair, for my Peer2 account, I literally had to just export my stuff, imported it, and everything. And I chose not to do the videos because I thought, oh my bad, I thought the server I moved to did synchronization. It doesn't, so my bad. Not really a huge issue for me, because I could just download, upload once I had more space on my system. But that's also like why I like the Activity Pub and the Fediverse, is because it is pretty easy to move things over. Yeah. So, I mean, it took about a week to get accepted or so, or less than a week, maybe like 5 days, like 4 or 5 days. But yeah,
On these platforms. This is the biggest motivation behind the decentralized social web, or the Fediverse. This new kind of social media that could change the way that we interact online and is actually gaining a lot of traction right now.
Can I tell you an analogy that this reminds me of?
Yeah.
And then you can tell me if this.
and to be fair, if you donate to me, there is a good chance I will pass it forward to admins of Mastodon servers and admins of the Peer2 servers that I use. So yeah, the money obviously going to me, but I want to also help other people out when I can. It's a good Peer2 instance means a good Peer2 experience for all creators. So that's something.
This is like a good analogy or not. When you were talking through like these new social networks popping up and not getting enough critical mass and then disappearing, that kind of feels analogous to like solar systems and like the universe, where if there are
Not
a
where I
whole
thought
bunch
you were going.
Okay, so hear me out. Hear me out.
I
Right?
think like a balloon.
You have a whole bunch.
See, I was thinking like a balloon, right? I feel like, because you put a lot of air in the balloon, and if it's not sustainable, or like, helium or whatever, it shrinks down and shrivels up. That's what I was thinking. Or it pops. Like if something's too big, right? And someone, a branch or a kid or whatever, it hits something sharp and it pops, and then all the stuff goes everywhere. Oh, that's
Bunch of mass.
Yeah.
It can all sort of drift through space for a while. You've seen the asteroid belt or whatever, and then early in the universe, these masses were just kind of floating around, and if enough of them got together in the right place at just the right time with the right circumstances, they would start to orbit each other, and they would have enough mass to become a planet
Right.
or a star or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think the older the universe gets, the more of these like obvious things that we have. We have planets now, we have stars now, and there's still some of this mass floating around, but none of it is quite enough to gather enough critical mass. Or maybe it might get enough mass and it might slowly become like a small object and then fall apart, and there's not enough gravity
Or
to keep
it's
together.
just niche enough that it has enough mass to still exist. It's just kind of like
but
orbiting
small
slowly.
somewhere.
that's a good
So like we have
Pluto.
a star
analogy.
Like all our planets orbit this one really large star, and that's all great. And maybe there's a little tiny bit of solar mass floating around somewhere a few thousand light years away from our solar system, and it's kind of there
Kind of
for
orbiting
a bit,
technically.
and then it falls apart, and that's T2.
That's it. Well, T2 existed for like only 1 year or
Yeah.
1 light
It
year.
made it that
I don't
long?
know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah, I think that's a good analogy.
I was gonna say, if we're following this
It's-
analogy, then the
Oh, good
Fediverse
shirt.
is like wormholes.
Right.
And you could just take
right.
your Earth, put it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Around
Yeah,
another
true.
star.
We're looking at the next universe.
Right. We're looking at another way of building the universe.
Sure.
Federating social media promises to give you the same connections you've already got, the same core ways to interact no matter what platform you're on. It removes the power from the corporations that are holding those users hostage with social graphs, and it makes those platforms compete for the quality of the platform. Crazy idea, right? Like, you might remember our Secret History of the Internet episode, where all those networks got connected over this universal protocol, which made all of these siloed networks interconnect. Like, imagine if that could happen with social media. In this episode, I want to talk about the 2 leading protocols that could make this happen, and the platforms that are running them. It's still really early days, so whichever ends up winning is still really up in the air, but it's probably good to understand how these protocols work, and then you can make your own decisions about what could work better. Let's get into it. The 2 platforms I want to talk about today are Threads and Bluesky, or more specifically, the protocols underlying them, ActivityPub and the AT or AT protocol. They both have some similarities, but they're also really fundamentally different, and to fully understand them and why they exist, I think it's important to get a little history into their founding and development. Okay, so if you haven't heard, Threads is a relatively new social media app from Meta. And less than a year after ChatGPT became the fastest growing app to hit 100 million users, Threads did it a lot faster. What ChatGPT managed to do in about a month, Threads did in 5 days. And currently, at least at the time of the recording,
That's
over a
insane.
year after launch, they're sitting at a little over 200 million users, which is a lot of people.
Didn't we do the math? It's like 10% of Instagram's base or something
It
like
is
that.
10% of Instagram.
That's
user base.
crazy.
Did you guys know that Instagram has over 2.3 billion
Active
accounts?
users.
See,
Yeah. They're
I'm really curious what would happen if even, like, 100 million people came to PixelFed, right? Like, that would be insane. Because we're seeing, I forget how many people are on Mastodon right now. I think over 1 million. But like, I think, okay, so apparently as of November 2024, Mastodon had over 10 million registered users and about 1.5 million active monthly users. VTuber.io. Sure. Yeah. Whereas Twitter still has 450 million monthly active users. That's the thing. So there's posts are 500 million per day, like on Twitter, but Mastodon has 10 million posts per day. Or wait, See this one? Let me see. Oops. Where is? It's up here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was reading that right. Okay, that's crazy.
That's
pretty big.
crazy.
That's really.
I mean, Instagram's worldwide.
Yeah.
Threads is not yet worldwide.
It
I
is.
thought Pitbull was worldwide.
No, he's Mr. Worldwide. Don't get it twisted.
It's in a lot more countries now. Hitting 100 million users in 5 days is
crazy.
kind of nuts. Now, to be fair, it mostly did this by like bootstrapping itself to Instagram accounts and making signups basically just hitting a button, but still. So normally, Threads wouldn't be all that interesting, at least to me. Like, it was basically made to be Twitter with Mark Zuckerberg instead of Elon, which really doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. And I wouldn't say it's actually fully replaced what Twitter used to be, considering it's got this insistence on defaulting to algorithmic feeds that push engagement bait, and it's got this stubbornness against elevating any kind of political content. The most interesting thing about Threads is Meta's commitment.
See, here's the thing about my Threads account. My Threads account is linked to my Instagram, my personal Instagram. So, my feed is very much looks like if it was just transported from my Instagram follows and likes. So it's very horny, very lewd, horny. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, not something I would be opening up in public too often.
Commitment to support the ActivityPub protocol.
Also, it's kind of a lot cooler now.
Is a mechanism for making social networks work more like email. My name is Evan Prodromo. I am the author, co-author of the ActivityPub specification, published by the W3C, and I am a social web hacker, and
he's also going to be at the thing.
Social web advocate. I started
South by
a
Southwest.
distributed social network called
I
Identity
threw it down there.
in 2008. There was kind of a wave of Twitter clones right after the Twitter launch happened. A lot of folks were like, hey, this is a cool mechanism. We should do something similar. And I launched one called Identica, and it had a mechanism to connect multiple networks. And that attracted a lot of attention at the time. We had a lot of folks start using it. The software was open source, so we had a lot of clones, and those clones would connect.
A lot of different people could kind of spin up their own versions of Identica based on that code. Or they could just use the same underlying protocol as Identica to interoperate with each other. This meant that they could see each other's posts, they could like each other's posts, they could reshare each other's posts. The works. This is an example of a federated social network. Just like the United States is a federation, right? Like this group of
Like,
states
that's such
with
a cool
independent laws,
thing
but also this higher
to
order
think
of
of,
laws
like-
under the Constitution that could freely move and trade with each other.
Like, to be fair, I think Mastodon has like a code of conduct or something like that. Like, if you want to be like shared on their server, the Mastodon.social and Mastodon.online servers, I think you have to like follow their like code of conduct. And then you have to also have to, and if you're like a user, you have to follow their terms of service for that server. Again, like Gab, you can't do it. Truth Social, hell no. So, yeah, ideally, it's a safe space for people to express themselves and no more fascists.
Each other. A federated social network is kind of the same idea. It has its own rules and algorithms.
The funny thing about my avatar right now is that like my hair is getting to that length in real life. So I cover up my eyes and stuff too. Okay. So you have to watch out when for the camera.
Platform you're using, but all of these different platforms could freely interact with each other and interoperate in their own federation or Fediverse.
Can I say something real quick just before we launch into this?
Sure.
You see on Twitter, on X all the time, like Silicon Valley folks being like, why would anyone go get an English degree? What a waste of time, you stupid idiot. Why don't you go get a computer degree like me?
Where is this?
And then because we're using the word Fediverse, we've decided the word Fediverse is the word for this. There's a word that is the noun form of a group of federated individuals. The word is federation, and all of you freaking programmers.
Okay, fair. Social web is also a good word. I forget what other word. Social web, decentralized web, maybe. It's yeah.
Who have never read a book
and
are dunking on English majors
came-
over the word federation.
I would say most
making up words.
Most people of our age demographic, when they think of Federation, think of the Star Wars Federation.
It's Star Trek. There's no Federation in Star Wars.
Star Trek Federation.
There is Star Wars
the thing
Federation,
is,
right?
It's hard to
The trade
I
or
don't know, it feels evil
Federation
to me.
or something?
The word
The
Federation.
Federation is the good guys in Star Trek.
What if
feels evil?
This is crazy.
What if Fediverse is a concatenation between Federation and Metaverse?
See,
It's universe.
Here's a man.
Or universe.
Yeah.
Here's a man who.
Luckily, not metaverse. Thank God.
That's my rant. I'm just like whenever y'all are like you Twitter engineers, like, why would you ever read a book and get a human? It's like, this is why. So we're not making up words on the freaking spot.
They love making.
They coined the term though.
They love coining terms.
But they coined a term of which there was already a word.
That's what they.
Dude, honestly, that is a computer. If you ever have read a textbook, because I did programming when I was in college for a bit. That's how it is. That's also how it is in math, right? It's just very much, you just don't know. So you're like, words.
They do.
That's the best.
Imagine
That's the best part.
Yeah, but imagine how people would react if you're like, Marquez, join the Federation.
Right.
No,
That is how the English language works.
You wouldn't associate that with a social media federation, though.
I absolutely would, especially if it was a federated bunch.
I think you'd have to describe. You'd have to be like,
What
join
kind of
this
platform?
social media.
The
Federation.
social
Tech
federation.
companies
Fediverse is
love
specifically.
making new words that describe existing things. Like instead of a
Clamato.
computational photography
Yeah.
algorithm that enhances details in the mids, it's deep fusion now. Like they name everything.
Also,
It's the thing they love to
Ellis's
this is
do.
made by a
point-
random user as well.
And to Ellis's point, I think the people that are pushing this have realized that it's a bad word and have started calling it the social web.
yeah.
So that's
The social web's a good
I actually
thing.
talked to a few people, and some people are like, "No, but Fediverse is fun, and we should use it." And I was like, "I don't know."
There is a federation in Star Wars.
I knew it.
It's the Trade Federation.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
are evil.
This is why it feels evil to me.
That's a good point.
Thank
Well,
you.
because Star Wars is better than Star Trek.
Oh,
What episode is
Dude.
this? What's going on? Hot takes episode.
Is Anakin the good guy?
The wars versus
Okay.
the
I'm
Trekkies.
just saying.
Oh my god. We need to. Oh, I don't
Let's
know.
go.
Do you think Anakin was on T2 or Bluesky?
Mastodon.
Can't get that username on Mastodon.
Okay. Let's get back into this. This is what you guys sign up for when you join Waveform. Evan's ideas generated a lot of buzz at the time, but mostly in pretty niche communities. But it did generate enough buzz that it got the attention of Google, who a couple of years later decided to launch Google Buzz. Okay, so this is kind of an aside, but I think it's pretty worth telling because it's kind of fun. Google Buzz was this microblogging service.
I
that was
used
built into
this.
Gmail.
Yeah.
The dream of Google Buzz was that it was run on this open social protocol stack.
Yeah, I didn't know that
plugged into
time.
all these different services, like
The only
Nexus
thing I
social
knew at the
service.
time that was interoperable with Google stuff was Google Talk. And I think the only reason I knew that was because I was using Linux and the Pigeon application had a spot for Gtalk. And then it was like, oh, you could talk to other people, on your XMPP server, and you're like, oh shit, this is cool. It was cool. And then you could also do like Twitter DMs and Facebook DMs, all from Pigeon. It was such a back in the day. It was such we had apps, one app to just do all the communication. And then it just kept getting separated out to different people and blah, blah. on. It did now you need to have like fucking 5 websites to be logged in just to do anything.
Media. According to Wikipedia, it could plug into YouTube and Blogger and even Twitter to interoperate between all those platforms. And it even plugged into Identica, Evan's software. So you could post from your Buzz on Gmail and then follow those Buzz accounts on your Identica feed. If you posted on YouTube, other people were supposed to be able to see those videos on their Buzz. It was kind of this like...
I'm pretty sure no one will want to see like a fucking kid. Like a kid do Buzz stuff. Google Buzz. I'm trying to say this without saying bad. I was a kid when Google Buzz was out. I'm pretty sure no one would want to follow the account besides like a couple of my friends. If you, yeah, I don't know. It was such a weird thing. Because I think there was like 2 times it happened. I think it was part of Google or Gmail, and then I think it went to somewhere else, and then it might have been called Google Feeds or Google. There's another Google thing. It wasn't Google Plus. It was something else. Trend? No, it wasn't Trends. Waves, maybe? I can't remember.
Post once, share everywhere idea, and it was a pretty good idea. So as much as those really niche open social communities got super excited about Buzz, the launch had a lot of different security issues that were mostly oversights from Google that they just, didn't think about. Primarily, the idea that signing up and following accounts was integrated right into Gmail. Like normally on a social network, you got to sign up, you got to manually go and follow everyone else. And this is like a pretty tough point of friction.
See, that was the thing. And Google still didn't learn because they put it's like a requirement for fucking YouTube. Like, I think Google Plus had to be a requirement for YouTube. Google just doesn't learn. And yeah, and I think most people I followed on Google Plus anyways were people that were in my contacts for Gmail at the time.
In between social networks, right? Like, just like Instagram bootstrapped the social graph of Instagram to launch Threads, Google bootstrapped Gmail contacts to connect people in Buzz, just not in a good way. Like Google Buzz launched with this auto follow feature that would automatically follow a bunch of different people that you had communications with, regardless if you wanted to follow them or not. And by default, people could publicly see the accounts of the people you interacted with the most. It wasn't great. This kind of escalated to a pretty insane degree and ended in a lot of lawsuits that you can go read about separately. Google eventually did switch to this suggested follow model, but the damage was kind of already done by then. Can you guess how long Google Buzz lasted? It was launched on February 9th, 2010, and it got closed down on December 15th, 2011.
So almost
when
2 years?
Google moved on and decided they didn't want to do social stuff anymore, that world kind of, we went into kind of a nuclear winter of like open social.
Like as much as the point of an open social network is to take away consolidated power from these giant companies, getting the backing of someone as big as Google can really help these smaller services flourish, right? Because if Google is onboarding all these users, you have the opportunity to build all these other smaller platforms that people can use too. So without Google's support, things were feeling pretty bad. But then in 2015, about 4 years after Google Buzz shut down, the World Wide Web Consortium reached out to Evan's open social network group that he was chairing, which he called the Federated Social Web Summit. Now, if you don't know, the World Wide Web Consortium, or W3C, is this standards group that maintains things like HTML, CSS, XML, all these internet standards that everyone uses right now. It was founded in 1994 by Tim Berners-Lee, the guy that invented the World Wide Web, and who we talked about in our Secret History of the Internet series. See, the W3C wanted to develop a standard for social media, because by 2015, it had kind of already become a part of our social fabric. And as much as it seems like the closed source, like consolidated version of social media.
I'm trying to think what was I doing in 2015 for social media? I had Snapchat for sure. Well, I think I still use Snapchat. I might still use Snapchat. Not that often. Instagram, a little bit. I'm still on Facebook, maybe? I know throughout the time I was also on Blogger a lot. It was, yeah. Oh, wait, no, 2015. I think 2015 is when I started going on Tumblr. Yeah, I think 2015 is like Tumblr, and then like a lot of art stuff. A lot of not safe for work art stuff. Yeah. But also, I was heavy like, by 2015. I think I was like, I'm pretty sure I was on Linux like 24/7. Like, I don't think I had a Windows computer because I think either it was that year or the year after. I think my school got Chromebooks or something. Yeah.
Was exactly as it would have always developed, that's not really the case.
We all know the experience of getting an email address from your employer, from your university, maybe getting a commercial one from Gmail. But we understand that you can get email addresses from lots of different places, but you can still send email to people on other servers. So even though
Yes.
I'm on the openearth.org domain and you're on the gmail.com domain, we can still convert.
Yes. Here's the thing, though. Some spam filters will fucking like they will stomp you out. Like, there's a good chance some emails will not go through, like to Gmail or to Yahoo. There's just times when the emails just don't go through at all, and at that point, it's like, what are you doing? Because this happened to me at work before, where like I don't know if it's my emails wouldn't go through or people were not reading them, but we had a domain with like a different server. I just had to use a separate Gmail account to do all that because there was no way I could do it. And even with Gmail, like email is fine, but when you start trying to do like groups and stuff in emails, like chains and stuff, it's such a burden. But to be fair, people don't want to hear that. They want to just have results. You're like, I don't know what to do. So, yeah.
Verse as if we were using the same mail server. And that's because those are separate servers that are connected using open standards. We've gotten very used to having our social networks not work that way. If you're on Instagram and I'm not on Instagram, I just can't follow you.
Right. Like email works differently on this standard set of protocols. Like you can use Gmail or Outlook or Superhuman or Hotmail or Yahoo or whatever you want, and you still receive and send the same information. Like they can have different features built on top of them, but the fundamental email features still work. And it's kind of interesting that social media didn't develop in this way, right? Like social media developed in this weird siloed, closed way, which, has its pros and cons. But lately, I think we've been starting to see more of the cons.
Yeah, I had to take a call, and I'm back. I think we're back, right? Okay. And I also went to refill my water bottle and some food real quick. Yeah, let's go back to the video. Oh, yeah, I've been streaming
Over the
for
next 3 or so years, Evan and a group of 30-ish other people developed the ActivityPub protocol, which used this previously developed data structure standard called activity streams.
A really great computer scientist named James Snell did
But
activity streams.
okay, we're like,
and then there are 4 other authors.
we could
Christine
be more in here,
Glover,
dude.
Jessica.
Here's my problem with it. Trying to upload this shit, and it's just sick.
Talon, Aaron Shepard, and Amy Guy, who are listed ahead of me on the ActivityPub. And let me just say, pretty amazing that we have a woman-led standard. It's so rare to see that in social, in any kind of standard.
Now, activities, if you're wondering, are basically a standardized set of actions that can be taken over a social media network or really anything federated over ActivityPub. So think like the repost, the quote, the comment, images and videos and audio. These are all activities that can be streamed over ActivityPub. So if I'm on Mastodon and you're on Threads and we're both federated, I can like your post and it shows up as a toot for you. Think of it like a Rosetta Stone for social actions.
I get it. I have a split view of how this could go.
Okay.
Here's my thing. I actually do not like calling it toots on Mastodon. I don't know why. It doesn't sound appealing to me. But also, like, I call it a post. Oh, I'm posting it. I will call things, like when you, or a repost, posting or reposting, or quoting. I'll even call it boosting, because that you're essentially, I guess, because you're a bump, or a boost or whatever, or a reshare. Well, yeah, maybe a reshare, because I think you reshare, boosting, whatever you want to call it. There's a very different names for all those. But I think we all kind of know what they do. I think when you say sharing, you're sharing it outside of the network, right? Or with sharing it with somebody individually. I think when you're boosting it because you're boosting it, quote unquote, in the algorithm, but really you're boosting it to your followers to see. So yeah.
One.
You're boosting a post. I don't know. Maybe, yeah, I still call it post. I'm going to keep calling it post. I'm going to post it. Because, you're to upload a video. Cool, because it's a media file you're uploading. But I'm post a video. I don't, yeah.
One version is where we all live happily ever after in the Fediverse. And the other is the pillars of the, universe of the internet that we had, where these giant star systems formed And the only reason you would leave is if there was actually something bad about it. This is what I wrote down: is social network needs features, UI, and users, and that's essentially what makes it the social graph. It's mostly users, but you need these three things. And if MySpace was the big social network in this style, and they started ruining it with like ads or something went horrible, there was enough reason that people would actually leave and go to one that didn't ruin one of these things like UI or features. Facebook, for example.
Right.
And so Facebook became the next thing, and then people started joining Facebook, and it had this critical mass. And then it got to a point where everyone who is going to come online and start using this feature more or less is now. And
Yeah, and no one
now,
no one
if
leaves no matter
Facebook ruins part of their UI,
what. Yeah.
some small amount of people will find it ruined and will go to this new social network, but they won't have the users.
Right.
And they'll come back to Facebook because it's still good enough that it's better than not having the users.
Right.
So you're kind of stuck now, and we have created the giants, and we're living with these giants now.
Yeah.
And it's not like too big to fail, but it's like pretty close.
Kind of. Yeah.
There was this moment where everyone was like, Elon took over Twitter. He's firing everyone. They're getting kicked out of their HQ. Like, it's happening. One of the giants is disappearing.
Yeah.
And so everyone hopped on Mastodon, T2. We're finally going to take one of these giants down.
Right.
But none of
Grandma Pirate gave me some meatloaf to take home. I went to visit her. Good. It is good. But damn, she uses a lot of fucking onions. And it's like not like minced onions. It's just like diced. It's like huge onion chunks. And I'm like, okay. And then she gets weird. She's like, "Oh, I didn't know you liked onion rings." I'm like, there's a difference between an onion ring that's like fried or in the air fryer or whatever, like breaded, as opposed to just random onion chunks I see and could taste and feel in a fucking meatloaf.
of them could combo all of these.
It would be different. It was like
Right.
minced into it,
And
but it's not.
eventually people went, okay, never mind. T2 is not actually okay. Mastodon, it's cool. It's got some ideas, but all right.
Yeah.
And then Threads is the interesting one because they kind of hacked the users part.
Yeah.
And so it's just everyone who's already on a different giant clicked a button. And also now I'm on Threads and I'm following everyone. And so it felt like it was a new thing.
Right.
But it's not new.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. We're
But-
kind of stuck with the
Well,
pillars
With
that
all
we
of
had.
this, though, it does this, and it puts
Can
the
you say that out
users.
loud?
It takes users out of one of the things that is
Of the
you
social graph.
need to be in the social graph, and
Right.
it now when you switch, you have the exact same users because
Yeah.
they're all part of the
But-
same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like, that's the reason why I have separate, like, that's why, like, people have separate pixel fed, people have separate Mastodon accounts. You can post pictures on Mastodon. Like, no one's stopping you. Even, like, the cool thing is if you follow an account from your pixel fed account to Mastodon, you follow a Mastodon account on pixel fed, you'll see the pictures that get posted or whatever. The cool thing, though, is that I don't say cool thing. The difference between like Threads and like Mastodon, right, would be because like people that followed me, my personal life on Instagram, high school friends, people that I met, personal people I met like through streaming or hanging out, playing games, whatever. Those people, a lot of people. Okay, even then, streaming friends versus like my friends that I met from like high school, completely different groups. People that I play, people I know like doing this, VTubers, different groups compared to people that I just hang out with, like out of in like my free time. Like some people I like, I love VTubers. I love people like I love streamers. Like I, friends that are streamers. But they don't like they wouldn't understand the jokes that I make with my like high school or college friends. They're not gonna, and if they could, that's cool, but like usually not. I think having separate identities and stuff is a good thing. And like separate profiles is a good thing. People that follow my Instagram account that sees me posting, pictures of I don't know what I used to post, cars and anime conventions are probably not gonna want to see too often. They're not gonna want to see, my horny fucking posting on Mastodon, even Mastodon, or my horny posting on Threads. Like me just trying to slide in some DMs, be like, "Hey, baby girl, how you doing? Do you shit with that ass, or is it all for me?" But like it's okay to have separate platforms, separate things. Like I know people that their TikToks are short, funny content. Their Instagrams are like the cosplays, and their Twitters are like promoting their OnlyFans. Like they all have link trees and stuff, but it's like very different types of content. Like sometimes their TikToks are they're not explicit, or they're not even like, you wouldn't know they have OnlyFans. Like they could be hot, but it's also, there's lots of times where it's like somebody wants to post fucking funny reels or funny TikToks or whatever. Like, have a link tree and be like, hey, you know what to do. Other people see it as TikTok as like, promotion for their OnlyFans or whatever, for fans. Like, cool. But, some people don't want that all the time. What was I saying? I forgot. Like, or you're posting, let's like gym content on Instagram, and you post, I don't know, something political on your Threads or whatever, or Twitter, like two separate platforms. Like, some people just want to see for your thread, your pick, your gains on Instagram, and some people just want to see your political content on Threads. I think that's good to have it separated.
It makes switching more free. Like you can actually make those changes. There's lots of people who wanted to get off Twitter but are still on it. Me, one of them, because of the users and a lot of other things there. Mm-hmm. I don't go on Twitter every day and I'm like, oh man, this is so great. Everything's just like it used to be.
Yeah.
If I could go somewhere else that had all the other users
and
that had a better feed and features,
else.
I would love that.
That'd be great.
Right.
And the question is, can we get enough people to start engaging in this new thing?
It's so moist. This fucking meatloaf.
A new pillar, like a new.
Also, because like you heat it up in the microwave, and it's like all the water like seeped into it.
That is definitely the question.
That is exactly where we find ourselves now.
But the cool thing about it is that you have all these small asteroids and these small islands of people that are on these new platforms that are all federating. Mm-hmm. The cool thing about them federating is they're all talking to each other.
Yeah.
So you have like this mass of all of these objects together that are all interconnected.
So it feels like you've got the users. Hopefully,
yes.
There's enough users that a new platform isn't totally empty. It's got all the users already.
Yeah.
It just needs to nail the other two.
Yeah. And then if that platform ruins the experience, you move somewhere else.
Easy.
But there is account portability that they're working on, and you should be able to take your social graph with you. These are the foundations of the social web, and I think it's really important to understand that context to understand what happens next. We're going to take a quick break, but after the break, we're going to talk about Mastodon.
Hey. You don't have like actual break, right?
Basically, a clown car that crashed into a gold mine. So around 2016, Eugene decided to do something about it. Eugene had known about all of these open social protocols, but at the time, they were kind of used for super niche technical communities, and they weren't really centered around user friendliness. So he started working on something called Mastodon.
I'm Eugene Rochko. I am the founder and CEO of Mastodon. And the reason that I started working on it was because I felt like Twitter was not doing well, and I've been using Twitter since 2008. So I was quite a heavy power user.
Damn, 2008.
And I felt like it was something very important for the world because it was like an instant global.
The funny thing is that's the fun thing, right? So I also promote like decentralization of like communication stuff. So like Delta Chat, XMPP. I think there's going to be a Mastodon decentralized messaging thing called Sup. Might keep an eye on that for a bit. But a few of those things. Simple X, I think, is one of them also. Just privacy chats that are decentralized. The cool thing about some of them, they have like bridges to Mastodon. So it really brings me back to like the days of when I used to be confined to a phone to view my Twitter updates, right? So back in the day, you used to get text messages. So let's say, like that's Twitter. Like you're sending a short text. That was your status update. That was, what are you doing? You're eating. Cool. And then I think eventually they got to, we post pictures with it and stuff like that. And then we take that for granted now, is that, and it used to be like 180 characters. It was very, very short or something like that. Because I think that's like the longest for a text message or something like that. Before we had MMS text messages, or they got cheaper. Back in the day, I was using Twitter on a phone, like I'm pretty sure a flip phone that had, those dial pads, the K9s, the T9 dial pads. That's how you used to use Twitter, and like it wasn't just like, imagine if Musk, took away his the smartphone and just gave him a fucking flip phone. I don't think he would be posting as much as he does now. Or it might be like 3 words or whatever every fucking post. Because you had to be because like you can really fast with it, right? A lot of times you had to be kind of like intentional with the tweets. Because also, a lot of times those texts cost money. I used to be on those prepaid plans. Those like really old prepaid. I'd say really old. It wasn't. It was. There's these plans are still around where they charge you by the text message. So to tweet, because the internet costs a lot of money. So you could either go on the Twitter, www.twitter.com and post like that from your phone, or send a tweet through SMS. And the way you did that, I think it was like 40404. Yeah. And you text that, you sign in with your account or whatever. That's how you got it. You have to register your phone. And then you also could get updates to your feed and stuff like that. And updates from like specific accounts that you want to follow. To be notified. So if they tweet something out, you get notified instantly. I think there was like raffles that used to happen like that. There was a lot of things. To be, like if like a radio station or like a concert was giving away tickets or something, it'd be like, oh, or concert, those live tickets. I think that's what I used it for at one point. But with some of these messaging platforms now, they have bridges where you can actually get the same type of experience, where you could message and send a create a post not from like the Mastodon app or one of the apps or whatever, but from like a message. So if I send a message from my XMPP server or whatever, or my XMPP account to Mastodon, it's like testing this out, this is cool, blah blah. And sometimes I think there's a certain command or something like feed or update or something, and it will give you like the last like 10 or 5 posts that are like in your feed. So that really reminds me of old school Twitter, like kind of like old school internet in general, when you do that. But yeah, that's just my little side tangent. I've been doing a lot lately.
Platform, but at the same time, it was in the hands of a single company that was seemingly on the verge of some kind of disaster from day to day. I mean, at that point, they were not doing well financially, and there were talks that they were going to get bought out by either Disney or Peter Thiel or something like that. And it didn't feel right that that was how it worked, and I wanted to see if there was something else. And Mastodon was not like an innovation in itself, because the idea wasn't new, and I didn't invent the protocol that it was on or anything like that, but it was just my take on the concept that already existed of decentralized social media. There were different platforms that worked with similar protocols, but they lacked a certain mainstream appeal, and I place a lot of importance on design and user friendliness, and I just wanted to try to do a better execution of social media platform.
So Mastodon is kind of similar to Identica in that it's this open source social media network that anyone can like spin up an instance of. You might have seen mastodon.social, but there's also things like disabled.social or mass.town or mastodon.xyz. There's all these instances of Mastodon that can intercommunicate with each other, but they have their own set.
Oh, Vivaldi has their own instance too.
So
I forgot about that.
Posted Mastodon on Hacker News, and it got its first batch of users. And for a couple of years, there were these major events that made people realize that maybe centralized social media was not what they wanted to be using. Like Eugene specifically called out that Gamergate was a pretty big wake-up call for people in terms of the harassment they wanted to deal with on social media. And there was this huge delete Facebook movement with the Cambridge Analytica scandal, where this outside firm was using Facebook user data without their consent and was using that data to advance political motives. So originally, Mastodon was using OStatus, which was this decentralized protocol that was actually also written by Evan. But around 2017, when they were finishing up the ActivityPub standardization, the W3C and Evan reached out to Eugene to see if he'd be interested in testing it.
What we did was we implemented two protocols at the same time during that time. So Mastodon was speaking both OStatus and ActivityPub for probably a year, until basically most of the network switched over, and then we could just drop the old code and stick with ActivityPub.
And over the last few years, more and more of these small services have been popping up, adopting ActivityPub, and federating. Like, now there's PeerTube, which is this federated YouTube alternative.
Which is what we're on, baby! We're on Twitch and PeerTube, hey!
That launched in October 2018. There's PixelFed, which is a federated Instagram alternative, which
also
launched
pretty
in
cool.
December 2018.
I think they're rolling out updates right now or something like that. I'm in
populating with all
their
sorts
servers,
of decentralized
or their
versions
Discord
of
server.
popular services. But of course, if you're gonna unseat an incumbent, you kind of need to reach a critical mass, which at the time seemed like a pretty distant future. And then Elon Musk bought Twitter.
Some big breaking news this afternoon. Elon Musk's Twitter takeover.
Elon Musk has agreed to buy Twitter for $54.20 a share.
Following breaking news, the deal is done. Twitter has been Twitter's board accepted an offer from the billionaire to buy the social media company and take it private.
This was crazy when it happened.
These calls to move to a more decentralized,
like, because this happened
social web
years ago. Think about this. This happened years ago at this point. Like, when did, like, I really want to know. Let me see. Musk buys Twitter. What's this? When does Musk buy Twitter? Months-long process. October 27th, 2022. Yeah, pretty much from August to October. You see, basically, yes, it's been 3 years. Because I think he started making the offer like in April, so that's like next month. So yeah, next month it'll be like 3 years, essentially. And it went downhill so fast.
Kind of amplified tenfold.
Because first off, on some of my for because I have to manage business accounts and stuff on Twitter too. That's also kind of why I left that for my region, but also from like I still have to manage business accounts for companies and stuff occasionally. So I try to convince them to switch to Mastodon just because you have more power and more control. But 3 years, dude. 3 years. There are messages that sometimes messages don't load in the browser. Sometimes the servers are down. Moderation is kind of very much hit or miss. But when I mean hit or miss, I mean very much a lot of misses. It's bad. It's just bad.
There was immediately a huge influx of new Mastodon accounts after that happened. And Eugene said that it got so hard to keep up with that they actually had to pause Mastodon signups for a short period of time. But luckily,
I remember
it's not
this.
just Mastodon that's the answer to this problem.
See, that's the thing. I remember this. I think that's when I started going to VT.social, whatever. And I kind of forgot to actually. I was like halfway into it, and like the requirements was like upload 2 videos, and I'm like, oh yeah, let me go upload 2 videos real fast, and then I forgot. I forgot to actually make the request to join. Yeah, that was my bad.
Other bigger platforms are taking notice of this too. This seems like the perfect opportunity to move to a new way of thinking about the web, not just socially, but in general.
Hi, I'm Mike McHugh. I'm the CEO of Flipboard. When Elon took over Twitter, I left Twitter, I joined Mastodon, and I started looking at what was happening there with ActivityPub and the Fediverse. It dawned on me that this was the beginnings of the open social web, and that it would have profound implications for Flipboard, for all of our users, for how Flipboard works, and would give us the opportunity to tear down the walls around Flipboard.
Which is crazy because I think a lot of the content I read now is from like my feeds. So from when I mean feeds, I mean like my RSS feeds. Here we go. My RSS feeds, and from the Mastodon accounts that Flipboard Mastodon, the Flipboard Mastodon accounts. There we go. Dang. Let me see this. Very much do. I'm stuttering. I'm stuttering here, guys. I'm stuttering, guys. Fucking stuttering. Okay. But yeah, so what was I saying about this? It's great that there's Flipboard content because a lot of the more Flipboard content there is on Mastodon, that means it's just easier for me to transition to Mastodon from Twitter, because that just means I could get my news from somewhere that's not fucking Twitter. When there's like TechCrunch, The Verge, stuff like that.
Open it all up and actually make Flipboard a part of the open social web.
Like since the acquisition, products like Flipboard, WordPress, Tumblr, Ghost, and a bunch of others have actually committed to using ActivityPub.
Tumblr is supposed to be coming. Tumblr is supposed to be coming to the ActivityPub soon, which will be crazy. It means a lot of art and a lot more posts are going to happen.
Alternative idea, not just an alternative platform. There's been some movement. Maybe not enough to change things immediately, but probably in the future. And then in July 2023, Instagram launched Threads. So at first, Threads just kind of looked like the thing everyone was expecting. Like Instagram was already working on this notes feature, which already supported text and video. But the weirdest thing about Threads is that when it launched in July 2023, they committed to supporting ActivityPub. Meta had committed to supporting the open social web.
We'll see how that pans out.
Right? I mean, this is Meta. This is the company that either buys you or outbuilds you. So supporting an open social protocol that actually gives you the ability to leave for a different platform, I mean, that's a really weird concept. So why would they support this? I have some ideas. I don't know if you guys remember this, but in around April 2021, Apple pushed out this update that forces apps to manually ask users if their data can be tracked. Meta launched this whole advertising campaign pleading with users to please keep letting apps track your data, because that was kind of the main thing making them money. So maybe it's that, but it's probably more complicated. So I decided to ask around.
My name's John O'Nolan. I'm the founder and CEO of Ghost.org. To compete with Twitter, for sure. That's my take. I'm sure they'll say something different because that's not a PR friendly answer, right? Just we want to beat Elon is not inspiring enough, so I'm sure they'll have some.
And now
extended.
I don't know if they still want to beat Elon. Because here's the thing. So there's already contention about having threads federate with the more of the Fediverse, right? So what might happen? So that's not even like Threads barely even does that in the first place. So if Threads can't be moderated correctly, because apparently Facebook's not even doing it, doing moderation anymore, and if Threads isn't either, and there's a lot of spam or something that comes out of it, they're not going to be federated. Like they'll be federated with maybe with other servers, but I don't think they'll be staying with the core servers. I don't want to say core servers because it's technically whatever server someone's on, they can just spread out and leave. Unless you're on Threads, you can't leave Threads. If you're on Threads, you can't currently right now migrate to another Mastodon account from Threads.
Waffle.
Sucks.
It's interesting, right? Like Facebook has done so many of these clones where they just rip off someone else's app and launch it, and they have a
Instagram Reels, stories, because Snapchat was all about stories. Disappearing messages also on Snapchat. Instagram took. What else? I think it was Facebook events, maybe? I feel like that was something somebody else had. It might have just been like other events, websites that did that. I think that you could also do like, is it like, I can't remember, baby shower things, like request gifts? I think you do that through Facebook now. Yeah, I can't remember.
Falling flat like 100% of the time. This is the first one where like that hasn't happened, so I would be surprised if it hasn't vastly exceeded their expectations for it. Potentially even to an extent where could it have worked without the ActivityPub integration? I'm not sure. I think the ActivityPub Fediverse side of things was a big enough draw to get that initial audience interested.
I think that in order to compete with Twitter, you have to get creators like you and others excited about being on this platform, on this totally new platform. Now, if it's yet another walled garden controlled by yet another billionaire, and who knows how it's going to shape up.
But that's cool, because I think David does have a Pixel Fed account, so he's, I think, embracing the Fediverse more than some of the others on the podcast.
Excited about doing that? I don't know, right? I mean,
but
it's really hard to attract savvy creators.
I was thinking a lot of people will just go to Bluesky instead.
Tired with like building out yet someone else's proprietary walled garden with their own content and not being in control of the algorithm and the
I've been streaming for almost 2 hours now.
In their own social graph, right? You don't own your audience. You rent your audience as a participant in these walled gardens, right? So the thing I think that's really savvy.
I think that's also the thing, right? Why I want people from Twitch to go to PeerTube instead, and donate to me like that, because let's say for any reason, right? I get banned or suspended from Twitch for X amount of time. I would be on PeerTube instead and still stream, and it wouldn't matter too much. You could watch me even without ads. Like, yeah. That's how I would do it. Like, seriously. That's how I would do it. And so I have so little views usually that it doesn't really matter too much to me, at least, about how much money I make from Twitch. I think it's just more about how much money I would make in general. Not saying that I have so little views that it doesn't really matter where I get the money from. And currently, PeerTube doesn't really have a model to earn revenue or anything, unless you like subscribe to me through like Ko-fi, or you give money to me directly from like PayPal or something, or I'm trying to think. I think that's the only two I've said right now, at least. Yeah. So, and like, even if you don't want to watch my videos on YouTube, I think you should be able to watch you don't want to pay for, you don't have ad block or whatever, and you don't want to pay for YouTube Premium. Go ahead and fucking watch my videos on PeerTube, and I would be fine. So, I'll be okay. Speaking of which, you can clip my content. Don't care. I'm okay with that. Again, I think I've said this a few times. I'm okay with you clipping my content. Just give me credits. Either link back to my YouTube channel or link back to my PeerTube channels. And or my Twitch or whatever. Or my Mastodon account. I think probably just link back to my Mastodon account is probably the best way to do that. Or any of those things. So
for Meta is that they were like, okay, we need to do something different than Twitter. And this, I think, as they talk to creators, this theme was evolving, I think largely because Mastodon was, very, very popular very early on, when after Elon bought Twitter. And so I think a lot of savvy creators were like, I'm not going to do that movie again, but if you're going to offer me something different, like this concept of the Fediverse, now I'm interested. So I think that helped. And I think that's a big reason why they've embraced it. The final thing I'll say is that, they have a lot of different social networks.
I don't think a girlfriend fit in my life because of my busy schedule.
Each other, right? And so, are you going to build yet another one that's totally its own little island? And now you have 12 social networks or however many they have? When are these things going to be interoperable? How do we experiment with interoperability? And
really?
How does that then sort of stack up against the regulatory scenarios that are playing out in the EU and in the United States? So I just think that Meta's actually pretty savvy about this. They're like, look, this is kind of where things are going. This is what creators want. And let's figure out a way to embrace this rather than have it disrupt us.
What do you think is...
I don't get this. So my upload speed's better again? Oh no, now it's bad. What the fuck? I don't get it. It's been
Meta's motivation.
Sometimes it just happens like that. And I'm kind of really surprised or not really surprised. I don't know.
Yeah, what a good question, right? I think so. One place that this federated model, right, can be really successful is when you're trying to unseat an established, incumbent, right? And in particular for the microblog,
I think the funniest thing I think the funniest thing. So, it's a joke, right? Imagine having a Fediverse version of Tinder or something. First off, for me, I'm not into that. Overall, I'm whatever. But also, dude, I don't really do dating apps. So I finally downloaded a dating app, go to it, and within 3 swipes, I get on this person who I know, in person, and we tried before, and I'm like, it's 98% compatibility rank match or whatever. And I'm like, that's cool. I'll obviously if I was gonna do something for her, I was like, yeah, sure. But funny. I was like, it was funny to me because it's yeah, let me do this because I'm I, occasionally feel lonely. But it's like, it's like I have friends. I game with people, and I have VTuber friends too and stuff, and it's cool. But like, sometimes dude, you're like, it's 3 o'clock at night. You're just in bed. You're like, yeah, a little bit lonely, a little lonely. You're just living out by yourself. I should probably. Yeah. Anyways. Probably I will not tell you all where I'm at. But yeah, so it is what it is. Yeah, so it's just that, dude.
In Twitter, and running at Twitter as a single network is hard to
Fediverse Tinder, Fediverse Tinder, Fediverse Tinder.
Federation of different companies, and it's not just your 100 million at Threads, but it's another 50 million Mozilla social users and people at Flipboard,
RIP Mozilla Social,
the long tail of Mastodon sites, Tumblr. You start to get close to the size of that incumbent, and it's a good way to possibly unseat that incumbent, right? So if the intention is, I think for Facebook, or excuse me, Meta, their goal is not necessarily to take over microblogging. Their goal is to mess things up for Twitter, right? Like take Twitter out of the equation. So like,
okay, so Tumblr by itself has 135 million active users. Which is like, that is going to be, like, dude, fan fiction, art, dude, it's, memes are going to come out. They're going to spring back up. This is going to be great. That's funny. Like 2014, 2015 is basically when I got on Tumblr. Like 20, yeah. I think it lost steam around 2018. Easy times though. But yeah, I mean, still, like, it's still 135 million active people, and if they all get to be on ActivityPub in the Fediverse, it's a lot of people, a lot of content's coming in. That would be really fucking cool. Then you could follow, like, think about like a page that does like fanfic or something, or some of your artists. If they're releasing, fan art, you can follow them from your PixelFed account. Like that is really cool, and you could share it with your PixelFed users. That's how I see this, right?
Partnering up with lots of other companies to make a federated network is a good strategy for them. And that's speculation on my part. I've had a chance to talk with Threads folks quite a bit. They are the typical answer that they give, which I think is, at least on the part of people in the Threads organization, is they're like, this is the right thing to do. I'm like, okay, yes, but you're also running, right? But I think they also see it as strategically really valuable to be able to like partner with a lot of other organizations.
And those are all pretty sensible answers, right? Like, I think it makes sense to need to try to grow as fast as possible to compete by Twitter. And it gives you access to all these Mastodon users and the other companies that are in the Fediverse. Now there's Flipboard, and there's Ghost, and there's Tumblr, and there's WordPress, and Threads is going to be able to connect to all of these and have a lot more potential connections. And the more of these platforms that...
And see, that's cool, because like if you, let's say you have the WordPress plugin, I think that's what it is. If you could release a blog post, and then you could like and comment and even share it with your Mastodon account straight from like your Mastodon server. That is really cool. So you'd be able to see like a long post, and that's cool. I think that's like a cool thing.
Federate over ActivityPub, the more Threads value grows over time, which you can use as an advantage against Twitter. But I really wanted to know Meta's stance on this, so I reached out to Adam Mosseri, who is the CEO of Instagram and the guy that's currently in charge of Threads.
It was a question that was, I think, a good one before we launched, and I think it's an even better one now. I think a couple different reasons. There are some longer term ones where I do feel like the web is going to move to a more open and decentralized place over time. Exactly what that looks like, time will tell. But it's, I think, good to lean into these long term trends as a large incumbent, just because I think the biggest risk to any company the size of ours is both not only competition, but what you do becomes irrelevant, and then you slowly become irrelevant. But honestly, with Threads specifically, the bigger motivation was to try and really set up a really strong set of incentives. I think it's a healthier set of incentives to be in a place where creators can feasibly leave your platform and go to another platform with their followership. And that is,
I think that too,
a challenge. There's risk to that, but it's also, I think,
here's my thing also with the whole Threads thing. There are people that I muted or blocked from seeing my stories. If they make Threads accounts, they make me follow me, basically, right? Some of those were like ex-managers, ex-bosses, stuff like that. Some of that shit, like I think my personal Mastodon account has some telling tales of my work stuff. Like, there's definitely times where I probably was posting on Mastodon for both accounts, or a few accounts actually. It's not a few Mastodon accounts that I probably should have been working, or that I probably said some stuff about some bosses, some managers at some point. It happens. I mean, yeah, but like that's the thing. Like the whole people latching on from Instagram to Threads. That's not the best thing to do. I think, in my opinion,
value because it forces us to really try and.
Even though, like, I have a link stack, right? I have a link stack. You could literally just go to linkstack or links.xr.to /@theparker. You go to that. It has all my stuff that you can easily find. So you have my VOD channel for my PeerTube. You have my main channel for PeerTube, main channel for YouTube, main VOD channel for YouTube. You have what else? I'm trying to think. My Twitter, my Mastodon, my Ko-Fi, my Throne. I think that's it. Might be forgetting something, but I think that's it. Yeah, that's a lot of links already. And to be fair, if there's a company that wants to reach out to me, hit me up on my Mastodon account. Like, if you hit me up on Twitter, there's a good chance I'm probably not going to read it. Hit me up on Mastodon, there's a better chance that I'll read it. No chance I'm actually going to reply. Just because sometimes I get busy and I kind of forget to reply. And it's everybody does it, girlfriends, I do it to friends. Sorry, but I get distracted by the simplest things. Like, to stream, look, I let me get some fucking protein powder, and then let me take a shit, and then I'm like, oh, I forgot what I was going to do for like 20 minutes, and then I'm like, oh, let me finally go and stream.
And differentiate to get the most dynamic and compelling experience, and not just to lean on
I think there's different audiences.
Adam is basically saying that they're trying to adapt to where the web is going early instead of just ignoring change like AOL did, for example. Like, in a way, it's kind of the exact same story. HTTP decentralized the web from AOL, and there's this real chance that the movement to the next version of the social web wipes out all the current incumbents, or at least makes them a lot smaller. So maybe this is just a long-term play. As far as that second part about giving users the option to leave the platform, maybe, like, I guess if the Fediverse took off and people still didn't like Meta, they'd have the option to leave. But now they do have the option to leave. Meta's kind of betting that they're going to have the best experience in the Fediverse and people might actually stay. That's kind of a risk Meta's willing to take.
They have a feed. They have an algorithm. But here's the thing: the algorithm is shit. Some people just don't want to fucking do it. And for the longest time, I hate using hashtags. I think do hashtags even still work in Threads? I think for a while they weren't. I don't know how the fuck you search things. And when I would cross post stuff, it was terrible. So fuck, Threads is not good. I still don't think there's not even a separate DM function on Threads. Like I would have to follow someone's Instagram and to message them through for that. And some girls follow me on Threads, but not on Instagram. Yeah.
Now, Threads isn't just flipping a switch and making all 200 million accounts on Threads federated over ActivityPub. Right now, it's opt-in. And that's, I don't know, it's kind of a bummer. It'd be really nice if you had access to the whole Threads network from Mastodon and other places. So I asked why that is, and this is what Adam had to say.
I think it would be tough from a privacy and a regulatory perspective. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding. I mean, you get a bunch of questions. You can imagine the questions we get from regulators around the world who might be less technical. And I assume a lot of your audience is pretty technical. And there's a lot of concerns about your content going to places that you don't anticipate it going to. So from a privacy consent perspective and from a compliance perspective, it's pretty hard to imagine us getting all the way to opt out. But we want people to opt in. In fact, I actually think more people, if the community grows, I think more people will opt in over time because it will be a great way to just increase your reach. And most creators are interested in increasing their reach. I also think that if you look at text-based social networks like Twitter, like Threads, like Mastodon, they tend to be even more head-heavy than other social networks, which are also head-heavy. So a small number of accounts create a majority of the impressions, or the content that drives the majority of impressions. So you can get a lot of the value without getting everyone to opt in by getting the accounts that have the most reach to opt in. Because I think that's what Threads can do that can really help other servers is get some bigger names with bigger appeal onto a more mass appeal app and then have their content flow out and create value on other servers.
Sure.
Now, one of the biggest things that I hear from a lot of people who say that they're sort of worried about the Fediverse is that there are different social cultures on different platforms. Very true. For example, I don't post work-related things on my Instagram page. I just post extremely long images, right?
Yes, this is true.
Right.
Yes.
So I don't want all my work mumbo jumbo intermixing in with my long images.
Right.
So theoretically, if Instagram were to be able to federate as well, you could follow on your social media reader of choice, you could follow my images stream, or you could follow my Threads stream, or you could follow this.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are working, there are people that are thinking about, how maybe we could do one singular Fediverse account that sort of links out to all your other Fediverse accounts. But currently, the people that say I don't want my Tumblr stuff intermixing with other stuff, people just only follow your Tumblr if they want to follow your Tumblr. All these different social media sites are different versions of you. And people
I agree with
know
this.
What to expect from these different versions of you.
They're
so
definitely
you have to follow the version of the person that you want to get.
Yeah. So instead of I follow David on Instagram and David on Twitter, it's now I follow David's federized long images. And I also decided to follow David's work text posts.
Right.
And it's just 2 accounts.
Yeah. And then theoretically, you could have a platform that only shows images. You could have a platform that only shows text post, or you could have a platform that shows both.
It's an interesting concept, right? Because the idea that the technology leads to a particular culture and those barriers protect the culture. But I think that our choices as individuals are what drive that culture, right? So if you're on Tumblr right now and you're just like, hey, I don't want to have people on Threads showing up in my feed, it's don't follow people on Threads then, right? That's a relatively easy thing for you to do. Or maybe there are people on Threads who aren't on Tumblr that you really do want to follow that you don't know about yet, right? And so it kind of, I think that there is a lot of opportunity for that kind of cross-cultural pollination to happen. and a lot of opportunity to say like, hey, that's not for me. And for me in particular, I'm going to kind of make my choices in a different way, right?
I think this is a really interesting thing about the Fediverse, right? There's definitely this tension around what data you want to be where. And right now, there are some people that have the opinion that we should just all post all of our content on one account and everyone should just have access to one singular version of us. But other people want to be a little more segmented. Right now, ActivityPub kind of does both. You still have to create an account on this federated platform and you still have to grow a follower base there. But now your potential followers are kind of everyone all over the Fediverse. So in the future, if I publish an article on Ghost, it'll show up as an account you can follow on Mastodon or Flipboard. And if you comment on that post in Mastodon or Flipboard, it will also show up in Ghost. That's pretty cool. So ultimately, if I could leave you with a succinct version of what the Fediverse is and how it works, Evan says that it's basically like email. You can have various accounts that are hosted across various different servers, and they can all interoperate. But who you choose to host you kind of dictates your experience, right? So if I'm on Gmail, I'm going to have a certain experience with certain features. Outlook is going to have another. Superhuman's going to have another.
I think because Bluesky is different than like Mastodon, right? I think there's also like Mastodon glitch or something. I kind of know what that is. Just Mastodon server that has certain features on. I think most people are going to choose what platform. Because in my mind, right, I think the platform is more important than what instance you're on. I think you choose an instance that you kind of trust or that is probably going to be here for a while, or you think it's going to be there for a while. That's how I would feel about it. Or an instance that you like the rules. Like platform, then instance, then whatever, then host. Yeah.
But they all have the same key features that let email be email. But you kind of choose them for the overall experience and the extra features they build on top. Eventually, you're going to be able to migrate your account to somewhere else and take all those followers with you. This mechanism is still in its early stages and it only kind of works, but eventually, you should be able to change what account's hosting you and where you're viewing the content pretty simply. So if you're interested in all that and you're already on Threads, you can turn on Fediverse sharing so other people across federated platforms can interact with you. And if you're on Mastodon, Flipboard, or some other federated social service, it'll just do it by default.
One thing that Adam Masiri said was being able to differentiate products based on features is going to lead to things like Threads monetizing Threads. They have to turn that on at some point. But if people don't like that, if they do it in a wrong way.
And this is the thing, I think, because I think Threads is already going to start. I don't know if they talked about it. They're already going to start doing ads, so that's going to be bad. And I mean, you my if you didn't notice, my what is it? My Mastodon account is verified. It's me. I'm verified because my link tree is there too. That verifies me. Not Linktree, Linkstack. My Linkstack is there. It was free. It's a friend. But yeah, so yeah, dude. And with that, and then my throne list verified me through Twitter. So yeah, I'm verified on basically it's little things are verifying me throughout my network, right? And me posting, you know when you go to the post, it's me. That's who's posting it. That's the cool thing about it.
They would just leave and go somewhere else.
Yeah, you go to a platform that doesn't have ads.
Yeah. So he was saying that they need to really get the features up there where people really want to use it, that they're willing to sit through ads, because there's going to be other readers. You could just download another app. Just like Twitter with Phoenix and all that stuff.
How easy will it be for the rest of this awesome switching that we think is a great idea? Because it can be there and it can be a great idea, but will people actually do it?
Mike McHugh, the CEO of Flipboard, actually did this because he was on Mastodon.social, and then when Flipboard decided to federate, he was like, I should probably be on Flipboard.social. You know, this is my company. I should do that. And he said that switching was very technical and difficult right now. But it also depends on the app developers, which in his case is him and his team, that they're going to put that feature in the app. So if you use that, there should just be like a switch that you can just export all and switch to another app.
And hopefully it's easy to find. It's at the top. If I'm Threads, maybe I'm burying it too many levels deep just to make it a little harder. Because that stuff at scale makes a difference. Like you have 200 million users. If it's a button on the homepage, everyone finds it. If it's 3 menu layers deep, way less people find it.
It will definitely be 3-layer menus deep because you don't want to accidentally do that either.
True.
But again, most of this is just based on where you're hosted, right? Like if I just don't want to be davidml.threads.net anymore and that's my main Fediverse account, I could be, and I wanted to be on Glorp Social or something. Like I would only really move that if I was like, I do not like Meta and I want to be on something that's not owned by Meta and I want that to host me. Then I go through the process. Otherwise, you don't really have to think about it as long as people know that that's your account on that thing.
Yeah, like I can switch email apps, but I don't need to migrate all of my emails off of Google servers.
Right. It's technical right now, and like the social web and especially ActivityPub is, you know, made by a standards group, and it moves slowly because it's made by a standards group. And because of that, you know, it's going to keep evolving over a period of time as working groups put things together. But that's also one of the primary things that Bluesky is trying to do with the AT protocol.
Damn, what a good segue. Whew.
There's still Bluesky?
Yes. So I guess we'll get to that after the break.
It's a break.
Is there a break? Because I could just fast forward this.
If you haven't heard,
is this?
Okay, so if you haven't heard, Bluesky is this newish social network that looks a lot like Twitter. And that kind of makes sense because it was incubated at Twitter. Bluesky is not actually as new as you might think. Well, it is, but it also kind of isn't. In late 2019, Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter at the time...
And here's the crazy thing. Jack Dorsey also funded Nostr, and I think he just like stopped posting on Nostr. Like he was like, okay, fuck Bluesky, we're going to Nostr. And I think he's kind of stopped really. I think he's still on Nostr, but not as frequently anymore. And I think he's back on Twitter. But I'm pretty sure he still owns part of Twitter. Not like, you know, that much, but it's insane. So he still funds all this shit.
Announced that Twitter was funding a small team of developers to build an open and decentralized standard for social media. At the time, Jack felt really regretful that Twitter had gotten more and more centralized. He said that centralized social media was struggling to meet global enforcement policies, and he was frustrated that the incentives trended towards outrage and argumentative content versus something more user-focused. So Jack was giving this new team 2 options. He was either going to, and I'm quoting here, either find an existing decentralized standard that they can help move forward, or, failing that, create one from scratch. This matrix chat room of interested people in the community
Do that
got
for
created
2 protocols, though.
implementations of this, but no one could really come to a consensus on the protocol itself, particularly around how much power these servers should have, how they should handle moderation, things like that. So they decided to take individual proposals instead. And Jay Graber, who had been in that chat room for Bluesky and had separately created this decentralized platform called Happening, sent in a proposal to lead the project, and she got chosen for it. Then in late 2021, Bluesky spun off from Twitter as a public benefit LLC to develop that project in the open, with a $13 million grant from Twitter itself. But just like everything else in the story, Elon buying Twitter threw a wrench in things. Now that Bluesky was totally separate from Twitter and Elon was trying to cut costs everywhere, it became pretty unlikely that Bluesky was going to receive any more funding from them, which kind of kicked that project into overdrive. The Bluesky team worked really quickly after this, especially considering they were now running on this fixed amount of funding with no additional income. They announced a waitlist for their own platform called Bluesky, which would use their own protocol around October 2022. And they announced an iOS app for an invite-only beta in February 2023, with Android coming out in April. All this work was just enough to snag them a little additional funding in July 2023 to kind of stay afloat.
To this day, I barely use Bluesky. Like, that's what I have. I have a Bluesky link that just links to my Bridgefed or whatever, account that you could follow me on Bluesky. But it would just be my Mastodon account. So,
afloat. The protocol that's underlying Bluesky is called the AT protocol, or AT, which, I think it's kind of apt considering it's for social media. Even though the AT protocol and ActivityPub have pretty similar goals, they actually kind of work in a fundamentally different way. And which one you think is better, I think kind of just depends on your values. So the primary function of the AT protocol is to have total control over your social experience without any individual company deciding what you see and when you see it. Apps can pull information from all over the AT protocol network and have their own take on it, but it all kind of shares the same bigger network.
I'm Jay Graber. I'm the CEO of Bluesky Social. It's a company that's built Bluesky, the social app, and the app protocol, which is the open source decentralized protocol that it runs on. It's designed a lot for composability, meaning that you can take the blocks of it and put them together in different ways. So you could, for example, just use the identity and social graph piece to build a different kind of application. Or you could just borrow one of the labelers to label photos in your application or something like that. And it's designed a lot around account portability. So you can take your data, your friends, and move them from one app to another without much disruption at all.
You could have a separate AT protocol app that uses the identity part of the protocol, but has its own way of doing moderation or has a certain way of orienting feeds. And no matter what social network you're on personally, all that information is going to spread all over the AT network. It's all accessible. Probably one of the most important functions of AT is account portability. Your account's untethered from the server you're on, and instead it's tied to this hidden unique user ID that spans the entire network. So your account can be used to log into any service using the AT protocol, and you'll still have all the same account details and followers. You're just going to be posting from a different platform with different features. That gives people a really easy way to choose who's going to host their account, whether it be bluesky.social or glorb.net. And if you want, you can even host your own account. So for example, I'm just at davidml.com on the AT protocol. So I can use any service using that protocol, and my host is just me. So Bluesky, the company, spun up Bluesky, the social app, to basically showcase what's possible with that protocol so that other companies could see what you could do with it.
Are there more? How many people are on the @ protocol, or is it only Bluesky? Because I felt like it was partially easier to understand ActivityPub because I know of all the Ghost,
right,
and the other ones I don't know.
Currently, currently Bluesky is like one of the only ones building on the AT protocol. It is an open protocol, so anyone can build on top of it. But just like you need a critical mass to use a platform, you also kind of need a critical mass to have the incentive to build an application of people that could come to the platform. One of these other features is custom feeds, which lets you create and share your own feeds with your own filters. So where ActivityPub is kind of just this fire hose of information that you receive, the AT protocol kind of lets you pick and choose what kind of information you want to receive from all across the network.
I think that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, the one
I like
is
custom
the Moss
feeds.
feed. It's just pictures of moss, pretty much. And it's very calming because, you have the Discover feed, which is one that we build that gives you kind of trending content across the network, as well as some stuff that, your likes indicate you might like. And that kind of gives me a big picture of what's going on. And then when I get tired of that, there's like a lot of politics on there usually. And then I just go over to the Moss feed, just pictures of like just mossy rocks on hikes and like green nature scenes.
I like the idea of custom feeds. There's an app called, I think it's called Rodent app on Mastodon. That seems cool. I think they have what's called no FOMO button. And I saw someone else talk about that earlier, yesterday or 2 days ago. And from what I can gather, it's like a button that is like a list or something, and it keeps track of all the posts. And I think that is kind of what's needed, because I've been using Mastodon, and Fediverse. Or no, wait. Mastodon and Elk, I think. For Mastodon. But yeah, I might try the Reddit one. That seems cool.
And it's very soothing. It's just a moment of zen in like the social scroll.
Like I know other Mastodon apps have some type of custom feeds, but like some of them are only iOS, and I'm like, okay, well, that you're leaving out like a huge chunk of people. It's just iOS. So I like custom feeds. The idea, at least. I like starter packs. That's cool. I wish Mastodon had something similar. Like I get the chronological order thing. I understand, but yeah, it needs something.
That sort of makes AT like a mega social protocol that can encompass a lot of different types of social media. Like if I want to only look at nature photos, I could use that feed for a while and then hop over to my regular social feed.
Somebody in a blog post described the app protocol as a toolbox for building social applications, and that sounds pretty apt because it is, like I mentioned, this toolbox of different sets of pieces. Like here's like the way that we structure the data, here's the way that we structure your identity, and like the way that we have decided to structure
two more videos to react to this.
Tried to make really
I might just do one more video.
Cool, right? You can also do things like choose your own moderation, which you can stack with other moderation to kind of create.
That's like an hour and a half long video. So
you can create a custom algorithm to rank your content that pretty much anyone can build. Now, currently,
like an hour of me talking.
Anyone to join, and just like Mastodon, they have a bunch of little spurts of new users popping up here and there, but they're building on it really, really fast. Like just recently, they've added direct messaging, stackable moderation, and
if no one notices, I'm a 5 stars wanted because it's fun.
Again,
yeah.
Bluesky is still a company, which generally builds a lot faster than a standards organization. The AT protocol has a lot of really great ideas, and a lot of people are really stoked about its potential. But it is a very fundamentally different
it tracks my hair, like actual hair,
versus say ActivityPub.
A little bit.
But again, they both have really good ideas. And some people like both of them so much that they're actually building bridges between the protocols to make the protocols interoperable.
Yeah, I'm Ryan Barrett. I am a stereotypical Silicon Valley engineer. But what we're talking about here is mostly the stuff I've done kind of on the side, which is working with decentralized social and building bridges between social networks.
Ryan is building something called BridgieFed, which is basically exactly what it sounds like. The idea of BridgieFed is to bridge different federated protocols and make them interoperable. Meta, I know.
Again, these are all open protocols.
I like that.
Like HTTP or any part of the internet. And so BridgieFed is this middleman, this server that sits in the middle that knows how to speak all the protocols and translates from one to the other. Whenever there's an individual action, like you post, you reply, you like, you follow or unfollow, like it
and this actually works pretty well because I occasionally I would see posts from, since I follow the BridgieFed thing on Mastodon, I will see posts from people from Bluesky under posts from things on Mastodon, and that is really fucking cool. And it's like you like it, and then I think it goes some people's Bluesky accounts, and that's cool too.
Understands follow you. Those actions on each protocol, and it just knows how to translate into the other protocol and deliver it to wherever it should go, and vice versa.
Double federated,
kind of. I mean, again,
federated.
We are like in the really early days of the decentralized social web, so it's like we don't really know what's gonna like win out yet. So everyone's just kind of trying a lot of different things.
It sounds like one is winning, if I'm being honest.
Yes, I mean, for a while, ActivityPub was not really being used by anyone but basically Mastodon and some very small projects like PixelFed, which was trying to be the decentralized Instagram.
That's gonna be loops.
Now that Threads joined, there's like tons of momentum. And, some people will say, now we have access to the 200 million Threads followers. You don't really, because you have to manually turn it on.
Yeah.
There's something called Metcalfe's Law.
It's named after Bob Metcalfe, who was an executive at 3Com, and he was talking about LAN networks, but it also applies in social networks. And the idea is that the value of the network is not necessarily in the number of people, it's in the number of potential connections, right? So how many people can get connected. And that, so, you know, the value goes up by the square of the number of people. So if you have a really big network, it's got a huge amount of value, and it's got a lot more value than a network even half the size.
So all of those people that could be turned on as a connection in the Fediverse, that sort of like amplifies the value of the Fediverse exponentially.
I mean, those people are closer to joining the Fediverse than people without a Threads account who don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
Because it's one click away and it's right there. Versus,
yeah. And it was embraced by like a major platform.
Mm-hmm. Does Bluesky still have invites? No, right?
No, now it's public. But that was one of the things too that David and I kept like coming back to, was that the more we learned about these different protocols, we're like, AT kind of sounds really good.
Yeah.
But ActivityPub seems like the one that's going to win because of Threads.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They're fairly different. Like ActivityPub is just a different way of looking at the internet altogether, where all of the content that you make is now social media. You know, if I make a YouTube video, it is now social media. If I make a blog post, it is now social media. Whereas AT protocol is more just like, I want to tailor my social media experience exactly how I want it to be, and I can take in the streams of data from everyone else that's making social content as well.
Could there not be a platform on ActivityPub where the user experience is better tailoring to your own
That is
needs?
true.
So like
true.
Ultimately, doesn't that make, if it's already winning, something like that would make sense?
Probably. I think what a lot of people will say is that ActivityPub is just like way simpler of an idea.
Okay.
A lot of people even say that the AT protocol is like over-engineered because they have thought through everything. And a lot of the things that they have thought through, like the simplicity of account portability and like different algorithms, or like choosing different feeds, is like a very good idea, but it's almost like too complex for some people. And it's like the platform, some people think the platform should be really simple, and the creativity of the app,
which is crazy because people, I keep hearing this. I see this in like a lot of subreddits and stuff. But like Mastodon's too complicated. I don't know. Use a server. I don't know what this means. Why? Who do I follow? And it's like, dude, follow whoever the fuck you want. Go check out the hashtags. You just have to, you know, vibe. And like that's how I'm doing it. I'm following VTuber hashtags and stuff. Ian VTuber, Ian VTuber streamer. I might be following. I might be following Twitch, like the hashtag Twitch or stream or whatever. Follow some hashtags. Follow, and then you see people posting stuff like, "Hey, going live. Hey, da da da." You follow those people, and you're like, "Hey, now you got content to watch." Crazy. I know. It's maybe because it took me forever to stop posting hashtags on Twitter, or even like I went from personally personally posting hashtags to kind of stopping a little bit personally, and then corporate world got me, held on to me, and was like, "We need to use hashtags for all our posts." Thanksgiving, blah blah blah. So I never really got out of the habit of using hashtags, and then hashtags so helped me just find things that were interesting to me. I mean, but Twitter was really good at keyword searches. Used to be. I think it used to be. And I feel like now it's getting worse. Same thing with Google, but it used to be you search for keywords and stuff. It was pretty good. They had an advanced search feature for accounts, so it'd be at this search this time to this time, and it was pretty good. I use that occasionally for jobs too. But when it came to posting, I was just using hashtags. Happy, if we had employee of the month or whatever, or something, a shout out, blah blah, happy employee of the month or something. Happy birthday, hashtag happy birthday. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
They get built up on top of the platform can then be a lot more complex. So, all right. Both of these protocols have pretty similar goals to decentralize social media and separate power from individual companies, but they're handling it in pretty different ways. The idea of ActivityPub is to allow sources of media from all over the internet to connect to a single fire hose and let users follow and interact with that media wherever they are. The AT protocol works as more of a piecemeal framework for building decentralized social networks, which give this single source of identity that can be.
I feel like the Bluesky, the AT protocol, is a fire hose of information, and you're just kind of plucking what you want from that information.
Easily moved wherever you want and can be structured however the user or platform wants. Ultimately, these are just really different ideologies on how open social should work. They both want the same thing, which is to remove consolidated power and give users more control over their social experience. And I think that's a good thing for everyone. We'll see how the future plays out.
So, if you want to be part of the new web movement, federate your Threads account, just like we bullied Marquez.
Wait, can you show me how to do it?
Yeah. It's just one
Are
box.
you about to federize live?
I'm gonna federate, and I'm just gonna
live on the podcast.
What's tweeting called?
Are you about
Threads?
to join the federation?
Skeeting. That was Bluesky.
That was Bluesky.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say you're welcome after I do it.
Wait, turn it on. I want to see your
sharing.
face as you turn on sharing.
Says on. You are now sharing to the Fediverse.
Nothing has changed. That's crazy.
Yeah. I want to say one more thing.
Now watch your notifications.
Now watch me not open Threads until the
You
next
should
time
not
we
have
talk
notifications on any social media platform.
That's actually
healthier that way.
Especially
it's my job.
Push notifications.
I
for
only get
likes.
notifications from people that I mutually follow.
I only get
on every
DM
platform.
notifications.
I professionally post on social media.
Yeah.
That's all I do.
But you need to see every interaction.
Not everything. No.
I
still get some notifications for some important things that happen to my posts.
What if there was like
even my stuff? I don't do that shit.
Specifically made for creators that dealt with notifications and only give you useful ones.
Oh look,
that's also why I don't do that.
An opportunity arises.
Opportunity.
Yeah. No, I agree. That sounds great. I would love that.
I'm gonna say one more thing before we get out. Close it out.
Okay.
I asked Adam Asir.
That was just so. I wish you saw Alice's face when he did that.
That was amazing.
Beautiful.
Okay.
I'm keeping all of this, by the way.
I asked Adam Asir if there was a potential for them to make Federation opt out, right? Because a lot of people talk about like, oh, the Fediverse now has like this huge opportunity because Threads has 200 million people in it, and that's 200 million people in the Fediverse. It's 200 million people potentially in the Fediverse that federate. And I asked Adam Asiri, do you ever see a world where you turn it on as an opt-out instead of an opt-in? And
I guess he didn't say or said no.
He said probably not.
Yeah.
And the biggest reason that he said is that it's actually really funny. He said most senators and legal people don't understand anything that we do. And the questions that we are going to have to field if people's data start going places that we don't control is going to be awful for me.
On the legal side, a lot of laws only kick in once you get above a particular scale that we are above, and the vast majority of the other players are not. So we just have to do things that other people don't have to do. We're also scrutinized much more than probably anybody else. And that also means that the tolerance for mistakes is also much lower.
Which is kind of fair.
Touche.
Yeah, and so there is that point. Like when if you sign up for Threads and you're not federated, if it's not a core part of the platform, if it's not a core part of the way that the internet works, that you assume that the internet is going to work, and then all of a sudden, all of your data can be accessible in other places that you don't assume. That is something that maybe people would be annoyed at. Mm-hmm. But
if we're scraping your data, opt out, baby.
That's right. That's right. But I think that there will be a world eventually in which it's just kind of assumed that everything you post is accessible from everywhere. Because it's not necessarily that it goes everywhere. It's just that other people are being able to see your fire hose from other platforms.
If you sign up right now, is there an option right off the bat to that would be a good sign up button. I feel like that just
like
quickly
in the
explains
onboarding.
it. It obviously didn't happen for us because it wasn't federated when we all signed up for Threads.
Yeah.
But
I think currently you can still only sign up through Threads through Instagram, but I don't know if they have. I doubt they've added that.
Yeah,
they have done a couple of like Q&A sessions around about the Fediverse, but I do think they need to do a better job of kind of talking to people about it. That said, just like you said, they don't currently have full integration with Federation. So currently on Threads, at least at time of recording, all you can do is
think right
see
now,
comments and like comments, but you can't reply.
How do you promote the
Problem, because
Fediverse,
a lot of
right? How do
people
you?
from Mastodon keep asking me questions on Threads that I can't reply to.
he's not ignoring you.
I'm not ignoring you.
Oh yeah.
David's
David's
banging
call
the
problem.
glass as loud as he can.
Yeah.
I see you.
But there are some leaks that by the end of the year they'll have potentially finished that process.
Oh, that's not happening.
Federation.
It's been
Federation.
how
I
long?
really want to see it.
Yeah,
I would like to see it though,
6 months. Yeah,
for the sake.
it's already March, dude.
Please.
That's not happening.
right.
Anytime soon. I
Well,
don't think.
if you don't know, now
I
you
say
know.
this and watch it after like in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know this
For sure. Okay. Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, I don't think it's happening anytime soon.
Really? You don't know?
What?
I don't think I know that song.
Oh my goodness.
Is it Biggie?
Never heard hip.
Biggie?
I think you're joking.
Oh no, I do know that song.
All
Yeah.
of the
That's
people
not the
trying to
song.
federate
Oh.
me.
Okay. Well, if you heard the line,
Federate me.
you've heard the.
I feel like I've heard the line being said. I just don't know what the song is.
David, take us out.
Come on, Biggie, don't you wait.
Never mind.
Fed-
Marquez, take us out.
I bet you can't wait to federate.
And if you don't know, now you know. That's the Fediverse. This has been a bonus episode. Thank you for joining us on this winding road. You now know more about it than you ever thought you would. Me too. It's great. Hopefully we're all federated, Fediverse together.
Fediverse.
Catch you guys in the next
Podcast.
episode on a regular.
I'm gonna watch one more video.
Peace.
Is there a follow? Yeah, you could probably. They're all on Threads actually. So if you have that's not an account that follows Threads, you can. Oh yeah, I can't do that. Can't really show. Yeah. Discord. They have. Yeah. You can see the Threads accounts. All the Threads. It's all Threads.net. Blah blah. Besides, Ellis is still on Twitter. Ellis Roman. And the way forward. No, they're also on Threads. Okay. Let's do the next video.
Almost a year ago.
Okay, let's react to this. Last video I'm gonna react to because I've been streaming for 2.5 hours roughly. I did eat already, but dude, I'm gonna be honest. I can stream for maybe like 4 hours max, and I feel like if I keep talking, each video like it's like 30 minutes, right? I mean that video is like actually an hour and a half, and it's 2 hours 40 minutes, so it's like an extra hour roughly. So say if this 30-minute fucking video might be double that. Maybe we'll see.
So now I covered a TikTok alpha male who has one-on-one courses for up to like $3,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
He also has video seminars for the low price of $200, given the keys to the Bugatti basically for free. And he teaches you how to be a chick magnet. How to walk down the street and just get pelted by sodden panties from women finding you irresistible using his seduction techniques. And I was making fun of him for some very silly shorts that he was posting, and he didn't like it very much, and swore that if I'd give him a chance, he'd blow my mind because he has a harem of women. He touts that he's had like 100,000 Tinder matches in 2 years, which is a stat that, I mean, not even Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point NBA game can come close to. Dude allegedly gets more ass than a toilet seat while looking like he spends most of his days just moderating subreddits. He also claims to have 7 active girlfriends on his roster, so he basically lives the anime harem lifestyle, all according to him. And then one video he posted on TikTok where he has girls like dancing with him and he's like doing this, hitting like Fortnite emotes while they're hanging out, and then he kisses one of them.
I'm trying to
That's his like
load up the other stream.
Dunk on the
Make sure I'm good.
video. So I got my friends together and said,
Yeah,
boys,
okay.
let's elevate our pussy game. So
The fuck?
we purchased his course just to see, you know, maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe he really does have it all figured out. He's living life on recruit difficulty. He's got the cheat codes activated, and he cannot stop slamming ham. We're about to find out. Do these guru courses actually offer anything helpful? Do we
Or are
run
they
the
just
Alpha Dom
shit?
class?
Alpha Dom sounds amazing. An actual? Oh, there's a booking
Alpha
coaching
Dom.
intro call today.
Yeah, but he has video courses.
It's only $200
with over 100K Tinder matches.
In just 2 years.
That's not
Dude,
That's not
okay.
good.
Let me.
Well, it's also not
he's
true.
got over 1,000 women in his dating lifestyle. And multiple
Dude, I signed up for
women.
like a couple of fucking dating profiles. I get like 20 fucking matches.
They're sitting there watching. Okay.
How many of them do I actually like?
But your fact, being dominant.
I just think I'm an okay looking guy. I think funny.
Understand the balance between humor and arrogance.
You heard him.
I want cocky funny.
Cocky one
Being
point.
Fuck.
Answering, like, girl walks up to you like, hey, what do you do for work? My go-to is I'm an ass model. I have a beautiful ass. Will I work
What
as
the
a
fuck?
astronomical physicist? No one gives a fuck. Just stop. Just go down.
An astronomical physicist.
Keep in mind,
This dude's huge.
What the-
This guy's awesome.
bar and like tries to pick up girl like
He's so good. Okay. Did you accept the registration?
Why did we even buy it? I just learned everything.
Well, so I'm so curious what his course is. So he swears that the people that pay him $200 are getting laid out the wazoo.
All right.
He swears it.
Beat him off.
Man, I need this right here. Look at this shit. I'm.
Password 1.
Dude,
Let everybody.
No, we're gonna
what happened to my account? Did I get.
There's gonna be no women left.
Oh no, my
Oh.
wife.
Oh.
All women,
are bad. Conflation.
You have 14 fucking.
Well, you're jumping the gun, Matt.
Sorry, I just want to know what a first-class woman is. Sorry.
Oh, wait, intro.
Intro. We have to see the intro.
Brand. What she was doing was putting her shoe back onto her foot. Okay? That is a very big sign because now she's not soothed at all. She's a little uncomfortable and she's getting ready. She's preparing for if she has to flee. Okay?
He's talking about signs that a woman's about to flee. So
Flee?
We haven't gotten there yet.
Bro.
But I'm excited for that chapter.
I'm very much.
Videos in my car. I'm hoping that by the end of this video course that I won't be doing it in the car. But hey, you're used to me.
Spoiler alert, he looked at him and he never gets out of his car.
Wait, why are they in his car? Okay, to be fair, what? Are you embarrassed where you live? I get it. I mean, it's a lot saying coming from me as a dude. You had an avatar, but like, there were definitely times when I would stream and I was at home, dude. Like, you could see everything behind me because I try to do the whole 3D model, like real background, then model, cover the face and the body and stuff. I tried that. It wasn't working how I wanted to. So now, and this is just so much better.
It is what it is. I might switch these out eventually. Might make much better like versions. You're always going to have access to it, especially if you are. I kind of want you to visualize this giant stone like bowl. Okay, maybe it's like the size of the Grand Canyon. That's all your relationships. That's all your jacking off, all that, your porn habits, all that stuff. All the beliefs you've heard about
Put them in the
relationships,
bowl.
every single ex that you've
Do
had,
it.
it's all in this huge pool.
The pool, man, the pool.
Right? And the society really makes sure that most guys pool. In order to get to the place where I'm at currently, you need a little trickle to come out of that bowl, okay? And then it needs to cut through.
Dude,
and it needs to
what
make a
the
stream
fuck?
first, and then it'll make a river, and then it'll
This
make
is
a
so
canyon.
stupid.
Okay? And once you're at that
All
canyon,
right, I'm ready to stop with it.
I have a quick question.
Let's move on to the next one.
About his set here.
Where do you think the car is, first off? And second, why
Some
is
park.
his seatbelt on? He's not going anywhere.
Safety, Danny.
Come on, Danny. I can't believe you would question an alpha male like him. It's 'cause I
The
have
alpha
a-
male is off the hook.
Your rancid
The-
jizz bowl is still full.
As a part wolf, I gotta say, top tier alpha right there.
Stream and fresh water. A trickle and then a stream and then a river.
Yeah.
Rip it out. The belief that women are all bad, or even Western women are all bad. That is incorrect.
Whoa.
Plenty of women just like me that, well, maybe a little bit less than, because I go pretty hardcore into this, but that get.
Okay, I see. This is the thing, right? A lot of trad dudes or whatever, they're like, oh, and you get to a point where they can't get anybody. Like Western women are bad, so they they're like, I will go and be like a passport bro or some shit. I've dated like conservative women. I have been with conservative women. There are definitely conservative women out there. I don't know what the fuck if you are conservative, dude. If you are watching me, crazy. But like, if you are a trad conservative guy and you cannot get laid, I'm sorry. This will not help you. Like, it's the whole story of like, go work out, blah blah. But yeah, like, go do hobbies, man. Like, I'm a fucking nerd, dude. I sit here and fucking play video games. I work out. I watch anime, and I have a life outside of women. Like, go work out, go read a book. Probably not one that these guys recommend, or this guy recommends. But like, fucking read the Hunger Games or some shit. I don't know. Fucking go to Half Price Books. Go to the sci-fi thing and go pick out a book that looks interesting to you. I don't know. I've done that. I've gone to a bookstore, used bookstore, went to like the anime, the manga and the anime sections. It's like, okay, this looks great. Go to Barnes and Noble, whatever, do it. I've done it, and and who the fuck knows? You might meet somebody there. I'm not saying it will happen, but it can happen. See, look, 10 out of 10 advice, way better than this guy.
As many women as they want. Other things. When you have this viewpoint that all women are bad, you are going to. What's the best way for me to put it? The other reason why this is bad is because if you.
What's he smoking? What the fuck? He's like, bro, I need to hit, bro. I need to hit.
The car's
She's going to feel that, right?
Oh, sorry.
there we are.
It was like a magic trick. A puff of smoke just happened.
And this is one of the big things I'm scared about with my program is I'm going to teach so much psychology and so much power that some guy may possibly abuse it, and I'm worried about that. That's how powerful psychology and body language and facial expression and everything is, okay?
Cocky funny, how to use it. He's really got to stop acting like that's real grammar.
Well, that's
cocky funny.
He uses cocky funny.
Yeah, he's a cocky funny jutsu master.
Okay, first off, a lot of women tell me I'm funny. That's probably the best compliment I ever got. Now, I don't give a fuck. They're like, oh, you have drool-worthy arms. You have blah, blah. Don't care about that. You're funny? Fuck yeah. Best compliment. But, like, I don't, like, say I'm funny, right? That's just a weird thing to say. I can say I could be funny. But I don't know if I'm, like, yeah. I like compliments. I'm like, if you tell me that, I'll be like, sure. I'll take it. But
yeah, we can
call myself that's like, it's cringe shit.
Population's important. We can learn about that.
This is like going to school.
Yeah, but for pussy.
To attract women and to keep women. That's just how we are. Let's be honest, okay? It's one of the things that I had to work on because I get in a relationship, get really good, get really busy, and then I would just try, like I would switch my viewpoint on either one of the new girls that I was trying to train in my ranks, or I'd switch it to my business.
Train in your ranks? What?
Train in my
whether it's
ranks.
in the gym, whether it's building a business, whether it's building, ranks like the girls that I have because I have multiple, or it's just
what?
You have to put effort.
You have
The issue is with the internet, with computers, with phones, a girl has a shit ton of options.
Yeah. To be fair, most women have options. They have typically more options than guys. That's the thing. Better. I don't know how to say this, dude. Like, Yeah, I don't know how to say this. Better do things. I think people, for both people, right? Spend too much time inside, and also like don't interact with each other a lot. And I go to anime conventions. And I go to like fucking. I went to WeebCon. I think I posted about that on my Twitter back in the day. I went to WeebCon and I met up with people in real life. Crazy. I met up with like a couple of women at an anime convention. I've done that before at different, anime conventions. Just find common interests. I don't know, dude. I don't know what is with these people.
So what happens is she'll meet somebody like your great grandfather, and then she'll meet a guy like me. And a guy like me is just going to collect girls.
Not really my great grandfather.
I don't get that. What?
For me, you'll know what works too. So that's the big discrepancy. It's not that all women are bad. It's just that girls are looking for the best that they can get. And if you don't know how to attract a woman and you don't know how to create feelings, and I got to tell you, being able to do what I do outpaces money, outpaces looks, and everything else. Have a guy that teaches her how to make her own money and build something like a business or something like that, and the guy still has like connection and build attraction in her, then she will ever like a guy who just pays her shit. Okay?
Does anyone think
almost all my
is there anyone out there, like, I guess I'm not a huge hoflation conversationalist. Is there anyone out there that thinks, hey, to get a woman, I just keep giving her money forever?
The thing is, I think yes.
You think so?
The answer to that is yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But like, this isn't new stuff. It's like,
no.
If you just keep giving her money, she doesn't really love you.
I was gonna say,
like,
this
who's that
feels
news
like
to?
a guy who realized girls like
emotions
and
love.
Like being attracted to
saying
somebody,
girls is even like just people like emotions, and he's starting to be like, I got a cheat code, guys.
I've got something.
I got a cheat code.
My girl, she's beautiful.
And she smiled.
She liked that more than
liked
me giving her a $20 bill.
I feel like you said it, like he's almost on this fence where you're like, come on, but like you're almost there.
Well,
you're almost getting it. Like
also,
girls
I'm gonna say it. This video wasn't about hoflation.
It wasn't
That's
at
a
all.
misnomer.
I
He
think-
mentioned the word and then he just went off on a money tangent.
Look, we've seen the smoke rising from his pants. This is all in the same sitting. He's just kind of ranting and then cut it into part. We paid I paid $197 for this.
Yeah.
They didn't get to see that. Charlie put it on my credit card, but I don't even know how.
That's hoflation.
That is hoflation. My great grandpa didn't have to worry about that.
Very clearly undergone red pill coaching.
I feel like he took other classes and was like, wait, this isn't working.
That's
like,
exactly what happened.
And then he like got a girlfriend one time because he was a human being to her.
Yep.
And he's like, hang on, I know how to actually do this.
I think he's so close to understand.
That could be it.
That females, which anytime somebody calls
that's
girls
always
females,
rough to hear.
He's almost there to understanding females are human beings.
Yeah, it's close. It's like on the cusp.
People like giving energy and getting energy back.
Yeah,
Like, that's crazy.
$97 courses go. Could have been worse. Could have been worse.
And we're only
the girl of your dreams is rare. Nope, it's not. The girl of your dreams is not rare, and here's why. There are plenty, and I mean plenty. I mean like literal metric shit tons, and they're tilted off center, off orbit, and they're not quite right, but they're good girls inside. They just need to enter a frame that's correct, and then they immediately fix. And that's most girls. Sorry to let you know. Here's the thing: most girls like being disciplined, being corrected, and like being put in their place. I will tell you that just right now. And maybe this will be on NBC one day where they're crying and saying I'm abusive and taking it out of context, but that is the reality. That's what girls like.
What? That's some crazy shit. Okay.
They step out of it, or they shit test you, or they get really super disrespectful, and you snap them back into line. Whether it's something like, "Hey, if you do that again, I'm done with you," or "I won't put up with that." Or
Dude,
bend them over
let's
your knees
pause
and
real
then
quick.
smack 'em.
I feel like
there's a lot to dissect.
Yeah,
here.
I feel like he goes through these episodes. So like when he was in the smoking car with button down homecoming gown, he was more relaxed. Like women.
No. See, they don't get this. This is just his diary at this point, right? This is his like video journal of him getting in a relationship and then like getting dumped. I feel like that's what this is. Like, there's probably at some point he's like, okay, he got dumped at some point, or like ghosted or some shit, and he's going like some incel fucking rant, fucking red pilled shit.
Love
Yep.
And being treated like people. And here he's like, women like to be put in their place.
This morning he woke up to find out one of his 7 girlfriends left.
Yeah.
And he was like,
well, no, she.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Oh, the
Did
frame.
we miss the part where he described what a frame is?
I was about to say, there's a lot of stuff. He's talking about shit testing and entering frames. That's in the blue lesson. Ready, go.
On the butt. That's usually you want to do that consensual with BSM, but
what?
Sometimes girls like a good smack on the butt to put them in their place. Then you have all the guys that they.
What the whole BDSM? Okay, cool. I mean, some people are into that. Not everybody. That's just crazy to me.
Done with that, been teaching them
about this slap on the butt.
Together. And different versions, right? There's different versions of a guy having his shit together. For me, I don't go to the gym, so I'm not saying all guys shouldn't go to the gym, but a guy that understands attraction and goes to the gym has his shit together.
It's also not really on look. His seat is like,
bro. I am in. Yeah, like I go work out, the gym, whatever, gym, house, whatever, whatever I have time for, or whatever I'm kind of in the mood for. Because sometimes I don't want to fucking, get dressed, go drive, to the gym, drive to the gym, or like run there. Dude, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. Since I've started working out, right, for the past couple months now, I feel good. I've lost weight. My face is I feel somewhat healthier. Overall, I feel pretty positive.
Like he is all the way back.
Yeah,
because
it's
look, it's like
his
not
body.
actually on him, but it's strapped in.
So here's the thing.
So he slid his chair all the way back to do this.
I was gonna say he put it into like business mode. So I feel like you could have just taken the seatbelt off too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like why is it?
Also, we're
clipped
entering
in?
the section where he's saying, so he was like, guys who have their shit together, and he was like, and there's many different ways. Like me, I don't go to the gym.
Yeah. Well, when you're this psychologically powerful,
Right,
he's Professor X a pussy. Like this guy, he's like in the female mind.
He's worked out his brain.
Yeah.
Because he's all about being different.
And the funny thing, and the funny thing is for me, right, is that I want to work out because I was supposed to move before I moved to a different place, and I'm like, oh cool, I at least have more space to work out. So started working out, and then I kind of stopped drinking and stuff, and just started making my life a little bit better. Partially, I mean, same one. Right? Did I get ghosted? Not really. I think we talked it out. We talked stuff out. No, really ghosted. Mutual separation, I guess you would say that. I was like, yeah, I probably should make my life a little better. Besides going into some spiral, I'm like, let's stream. Let's stream. Let's work out. Let's stop drinking. Like, boom, and then here I am, losing weight and getting abs. I think you're close to it.
Go to the gym.
You have your emotional control. Girls can't even poke you and hit your buttons and shit test you, and you're just a silly little brat like that. To most of the things that they do, you stand out. You're a rarity.
What?
Because
Oh,
most
wow, I'm getting a call. Spam risk. Let's see if I can get scammed.
Maybe too.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Hey there, this is Chloe. You're doing all right?
Yes. How are you, Chloe?
That's good to hear. Do you currently have Medicare Parts A and B?
No.
Unfortunately, you don't seem to qualify for the plans that
Wait,
we have.
I want to.
I do have it.
Oh, what the? I can't even get scammed.
Oh,
That's how.
that was so AI.
That's
Chloe, she's not.
that was
That's
fucked
a
up.
bad woman. That is a bad woman.
That's fucked
My
up.
great grandfather would have hated Chloe.
Does that
It's gonna be how
Wait.
nice guys are bad.
Age.
Oh, this isn't.
This is
What
gonna be
the
like
fuck?
optimal.
What is this lighting in the shirt, dude?
He's on the other side. now.
From my angle, he looks like Paul Giamatti.
He does look a little bit like Paul Giamatti.
This looks
Hey, some women are into that.
Creepypastas. It's like a Papa John jump scare. I really want to see Nice Guy.
All right,
just briefly.
Oh,
and look
God,
how
we're in a different outfit.
Look how nice he looks.
He does look like a nice guy.
That's a nice guy.
Like he does look like a nice guy. All right, I'm changing speed.
That maybe it's only the colored hair that gives you the sense that they might be unstable. But if you behave the way I do, you bust their balls, you're cocky, but you also have a mixture of funny in there. You fucking don't give a fuck about them shit testing you. You push it right back and give it right back to them and put them in their place. That is going to be worlds different than the guy that's constantly nice and saying sorry or like, oh, I didn't mean to offend you. I'm almost borderline rude when I talk to girls, and girls fucking love it.
I don't believe that.
Guys constantly cater, bend, and simp to them, and there is a giant chunk of their female mind that says this is not how it's supposed to be. You ever hear girls talk with each other where they talk about how a guy, oh, he's nice, well, he buys me things, and he takes me out to dinner, he's like a brother to me, he's like a friend. That thing, the friend zone, but it's even worse because she's off talking to her girlfriends about you.
Or I have a lot of friends that are women. Nah, that's usually not how that goes. It's usually, hey, if the guy's nice, do you think I should be with him? Stuff like that. Or like the guy treats me well, and da 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 da. And that's kind of all they want, dude. Like, consistency, and being treated well. And, not too pushy, usually. Being funny. It helps. Some little sarcasm goes a long way. Yeah. Yikes.
Instead of talking about how pathetic you are, but she's trying to be nice about it. Girls don't do that about me. Girls, when they have conversations,
they just don't talk about him in general. So much better.
Right back. He'll bust my balls. He'll fucking pick and make fun of me. He doesn't give a fuck. Does the average guy know how to have multiple girls and hold them for years and years while collecting more? Yes, I said collecting. And my girls are all perfectly fine with me using that term. So,
what the fuck?
What I pull off. No.
I want him to do one of these with all of his girls in the car with him.
Yeah, I have.
So, their reaction.
Interestingly enough,
to the words that he is saying.
He did a video to prove the haters wrong that he has kissed a girl before. In fact, he even pinned it. Watch this.
Whoa.
To me, become the man I am today.
What is this music?
I would say I lived a lucky life if I didn't know how much work.
This sounds like he's about to die.
Is he renewing his vows or something? What the fuck?
What? I don't know. That was really creepy. It's getting creepier.
What?
I can't see the video, so I don't know what.
Down your throat. All this bullshit about women and dating. Maybe in 2025, you'll see it differently. Merry Christmas.
That couldn't have ended any better. That was incredible. Wait, let's see. I'm going to go to feet and legs part 1.
Yeah, we can go to
Does
feet and
he
legs.
give examples?
So this first section was all about limiting beliefs, and I was actually very surprised because the way he talks on TikTok is very different than his courses. So he was saying, like, thinking all women are bad isn't good, and hoflation isn't real. And then in the same breath, in the same section, he would still talk about like how you need to put women in their place and discipline them and don't let them into your frame, which I never really fully grasped what he meant by that, like talking about his frame, like when a woman tries to
my
get
frame,
and I'm in this frame of a woman, like I don't really know what he's referring to unless he's really just a huge fan of fucking Warframe or some shit. And then he would also like make it like these huge eureka moments where
I don't get it,
like talking about emotions, so we should listen to that sometimes. And then also still like be like, and then we have to put her in her place. So he kind of like teetered on this edge of almost understanding that women are human, but he'd get close. He'd like poke at it a little bit, tickle it, like these female creatures. They're almost like us. They're almost, sentient beings that like to talk and like to communicate with us. And sometimes it's worth to listen. Conflict resolution. Well, he's big on putting women in their place. Is his resolution like, all right, come over my knee? I'm curious.
Let's listen to conflict resolution.
So we're telling that for active listening. The one that I had a lesson about this, right? Listen attentively to your partner's perspective, show that you value their viewpoint by actively engaging in the conversation. You know that one. I had a whole lesson on it. but it ties in here, so that's why it's here too. Number 5, avoid the blame game. Okay, I talked about it a little bit in the last lesson. Focus on the issue at hand rather than
this isn't bad. This is very normal. Very normal way to handle things.
Now, what does he say for the next 15 minutes?
Yeah. How does it go for 15 minutes? Because this is like
way ahead.
Because this is very normal, solid stuff.
Childhood on, we're taught to lie with our faces. Okay, so there's a reason why the face is not the most truthful one. That being said, hey, nobody's taught you to lie with your legs and feet. Things like stress, fear, happiness, joy, nervousness, subservience, awkwardness, confidence can all show from your feet, right? Your feet and your legs, okay? Even anger, you think, right?
So he's talking about how all of your emotions, deceit, anger, and everything show in your feet. Thoughts?
I've never looked for them there, so I can't disprove that.
Yeah, I guess in his defense, I cannot say no.
It's so true. You're right.
I've never tried to see if that's right.
He could be really correct.
Yeah. I feel like we got a lot out of this course, and my bowl is there's a crack in the bottom. It's starting to flow. It's starting to flow.
Oh, I can tell.
Yeah. No, I know.
I'm gonna walk into my house. Monique's feet are gonna be like crossed. And I'm gonna be like, "Fuck,
shit! I'm a bad husband.
Damn it! I gave you too much money." Get your dad on the horn.
Fucking hoflation.
Okay, wait. The last thing.
Wait! I just remembered. Okay, shut the fuck up, everybody. Daredevil, the new season, or I guess the reboot, or I guess the continuation of Daredevil is happening tomorrow. Let me check. Daredevil Born Again episode 1 and 2 comes out tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. I wish it came out in the morning, but hey. Okay, that's cool. And then Thursdays we have Invincible. I'm feeling it. I still need to watch the last episode of Soul Leveling before the next one comes out, or I might catch up on all of that. And then we can tying the knot with an Amagi sister. Is that what it is? Amagami sister. Also comes out tomorrow. I've Crush at Work. That came out this morning. Medica Kurikwa is in Previous to My Charms. The episode came out this morning. And Honey Griffins 2 really love you. Came out yesterday. The Red Ranger also came out yesterday. Okay. I'm gonna watch a lot of that. I need to download these fucking books that I keep. These archive.
We have to watch is something about Cocky Funny.
Cocky Funny, how to use it.
The saddest truth ever. I remember when I was 18 and I said I want multiple women and not to use money to build it. I was told I was insane. Now it's like the fucking Uber story. They said you couldn't do it. That's the logistics.
You can't build a harem of women without money.
Oh my God, 10 years from now I will be the most known and the best dating coach on the planet. Reality is clay in my hand, and I build what my mind sees. Most people can't do it.
He's like the Warhammer orcs.
He is
like the Warhammer orc. Why has that changed so drastically? I help 6 and 7 figure business owners with dating.
Well, because those are the ones who can afford his course.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense then.
There's another thing, and these are all, I really want to interview him. He talks so much about, if you're a guy like me who grows businesses, are you growing a single business outside of this dating course?
Yes.
All right.
All of them.
Every business.
Over 1,000 women, where do they all rank? It's like 1,000-person tier list. That would be
that'd be incredible.
Yeah, a lot. How do you rank the different ethnicities as far as dating?
He's ranking ethnicities.
Let's go into it.
Oh, that's...
Wait, is he actually...
What the fuck is this shit?
Rank all the different ethnicities.
Oh my God, what?
How I'm going to rank them, the way I'm going to rank them.
Maybe we...
At the absolute horrid fucking worst tier,
well,
it's going to be...
What's his number one?
Western culture, white women.
So he said the god awful lowest tier Western culture white women.
Keep in mind, Alpha Dom has
Wait,
two
that's 'cause they think
American
he-
white women.
When was this? 6 months. He literally in his course told us not to say white Western women are bad.
No, he's not saying
No.
they're bad. He's just saying on the total
Oh,
poll,
they're
they're
the worst.
the
They're
Well,
worst.
he did call them god awful though, for what it's worth. I also really appreciate he's talking about himself in the third person. He goes, keep in mind, Alpha Dom has 2 American white women currently, which is pretty cool.
It's gotten worse.
This was only 6 months ago. The course was 2 years ago.
I feel
Maybe
like
he's
solid.
He's changing.
1 and 2 are very rare fucking exceptions.
Yeah, he does
And if
not
you're a
like
white
American
girl
women.
Watching this doesn't mean I don't like you. Maybe you're one.
That's a weird thing, dude.
Exceptions, but most of the white. I mean, just look at them. White women are playing the victim card when they have no reason to be the victim, but they play the victim card in order to for other races. Ugh.
What? What?
Yeah, I want to fucking for 10 hours before sex fucking listen to you fucking tell me why every other race is fucking suppressed or oppressed.
Okay, yeah, dude's a total. To be honest, so garbage, complete garbage human being.
This is his course was a different man.
Off enough, and then
Shit happen.
I've shown it a million fucking times.
I become racist, dude.
In the second to the bottom tier, it's going to be African American women. Sorry, that's where you girls are at.
Wow.
First off, I know you're in America, and I know eating is a thing here, but please, for the love of God, your ancestors were like me. They were so attractive. And number 2, you're way too fucking aggressive out the gate. Like, don't get me wrong.
Holy.
Fuck.
And West African women, and they're just fucking like super hardcore aggressive, but they know where to fucking bend the knee. And you're like 600 pounds of fucking, I don't want to bend the knee. No, I'm sorry. Training with blades for longer than I can fucking remember, and I've survived 3 knife attacks and a fucking gunshot because of my expertise in knives.
Just pause.
What does that have to do with anything? Your expertise in knives.
Upsetting.
What the fuck happened?
Fucking menace.
Wow, that got upsetting.
What is the whole blade section?
I don't know. You're just like, I've trained in blades for years.
Yeah, I survived 3 knife attacks.
And a gunshot.
That sounds like maybe his harem was fighting back.
That's what he's talking about with fleeing.
Yeah.
We don't want to interview you anymore.
Wow.
Actually, I'm still curious to see what his life is like.
Yeah, I am
want to
too.
know what the real life person is behind what he's putting
I'm
forward.
just now worried. He's a human weapon.
That's true.
That's true. He has trained with the blade.
That's
true. So as long as you keep him away from any kind of sharp objects, you guys should
we'll
be safe.
sign a truce for like 3 days where there's no physical conflict.
No Bushido.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I believe you that you're good with blades. I don't need to prove it.
All right, I'm back to wanting to do the interview. You're right. So we'll go over, the day in the
Crazy.
life.
Crazy.
The icing on the cake, you have to prove that you can stop knife attacks and a bullet.
We'll bring Dale out to come
Yeah,
train
we'll
with
do
him.
it safely. I'm not gonna shoot at you.
I already know how it's gonna go. You're gonna shoot a bullet at him. He's gonna have the sword and just go.
But imagine the bullet breaks apart,
sliced in 2.
Oh,
that'd be crazy.
This was.
Are we continuing?
I just have to know where it goes. I have to.
Fucking, please, for the love of God, stop with the shanking. Rank number 4 from the bottom are the Asian Americans that are 3rd generation and beyond. Puerto Rican, hardcore mom bods at like 25. AKA somebody who has dated multiple, was even married to a Mexican. So, I mean, she was an albino. She was a rare breed. She was an albino. You've seen her if you watch.
What? You mean a light-skinned Latina woman? I've been with a few of those. Cool, buddy.
You said he was married?
Yeah, he said he was
Asian
married.
European women are going to be up next.
I do think he needs to go back and watch his own course
I
because
agree.
he'd be like, "Wow,
Yeah.
I wonder what he would say about his own videos."
I think he'd shit on his.
He would shit on his. He would shit on his.
I'd like a refund.
Oh.
On the video where I talked about this, where I was landing a Victoria's Secret model, don't fucking come in my comments if you never landed a Victoria's Secret model, because I did with that line. Now a lot of you who are dumb.
All right, I can stop there. He's talking about the Victoria's Secret model.
I've dated models. OnlyFans people, and like, dude. Okay, first off, it's funny. It's because other people that somewhat know me, they're like, "You should have dated a content creator." And I'm like, "Who the? What do you mean? That's like my whole life." It's like, if I'm not working, I'm doing content creation. I think it's like, yeah. It was cool. I don't know if she remembers me. I mean, like, I don't, because we went like on a couple, it was like dating, as in like we went on a couple dates. Yeah, it was cool. She was fun. Now I think she's doing a lot better. So good for her. It's cool. I don't know. It's just such a weird like oh, that's a flex. I'm like, dude, it's any like, dude, models, cosplayers, everyone, streamers, we're all people, dude. Like, God, it's such a weird fucking thing.
That he's landed, which we all know. We met her. We know her.
We know her.
We've seen her.
I don't understand the fall off.
Well, when you work with that much power, sometimes it can corrupt.
He warned us.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah.
He had too much pussy in too short a time.
Absolute pussy corrupts.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good point. I feel like this was eye-opening and worth $200.
I think we got our money's worth.
I really do.
It was a sad conclusion because there was some kind of deterioration of his brain that happened over the course of 2 years, because his video seminars that you paid $200 to access are very different than the current specimen you see absolutely blabbering nonsense on TikTok and YouTube shorts. Because right now his big thing is about being the big ticket alpha male and like ranking the ethnicities of the imaginary women he's dated over the course of his life. And his courses, he actually does talk about normal stuff sometimes, whereas when we were going through like his modern TikToks and YouTube shorts, none of that DNA is there anymore, at least not from any of the ones that we saw or found. It almost feels satirical to a certain extent, but he does it earnestly. So like that whole discussion that he talked about with his mastery of the blade, that is the epitome of the Reddit fedora wearing meme. The Discord moderator, Discord super shinobi, that kind of thing. Like, he embodies that, and he unironically discusses shit like that. Because we did a bit of a deep dive to see if he was making like a joke, if he's just playing a character. He's not. This is him. Now, I would be very curious as
crazy stuff
to see what he's like in real life. Because I get the feeling he is just jumping from trend to trend. 2 years ago, these pickup artist guru courses were flying off the fucking shelves like it was the sequel to the Bible. People were desperate and purchasing these things. Now, not so much, so he's pivoted into doing kind of like almost rage-baity content for TikTok and YouTube to, like, I guess, put on this front of being like, yeah, women are so easy to fuck, and that's kind of like all they're good for. I got like so many fucking women, I collect them like Pokemon cards. Like, that's his new thing. So, as Matt and Danny said, we'd really love to, like, have a day in the life of Alpha Dom. Would love to see the master at work. Because he talks about how easy it is for him to just collect women and put them into his ranks. Supposedly has 7 women currently. Would love to have the keys to the kingdom, have access to that harem, and interview them to see what they say about this whole ordeal. But the last time I proposed this, he said that I need to sign an NDA or some shit. I'm foggy in all the details because it's been almost a year, which is still the dumbest thing, to sign an NDA with Alpha Dom where I won't talk about the women I see him having, which almost sounds like a criminal enterprise, like he's locking them up as prisoners of war. But you know what?
Hey, shit, Andrew Tate could be this guy's messiah or something.
This time around, we'll all sign the NDA. Let's see it in action, Dom. I am so fucking curious. I can't promise I'll be, stay true to the NDA, because I would love to be able to discuss the things that we learn, but we'll at least toy around with the notion of your stupid fucking NDA. So anyway, $200 down the shitter for sure on this experience, but had to know what it was like. I haven't actually purchased one of these courses from these goofballs, and now that I have, it's been pretty eye-opening stuff. Again, the course, a lot of it was just him saying normal things sprinkled in with brief moments of insanity and lunacy, but it wasn't egregious. Not like he, in his current state, his final evolution here, his digivolution.
Evolution. The evolution.
Like, back in the courses, he was a lot more normal than he is now. So it wasn't even like the worst advice in the world, especially when it comes to like conflict resolution. Like the way he talked about it, for the most part, was pretty solid. I don't know what the fuck has happened to him. That'd be something very interesting to explore. But anyway, yeah, overall.
He got, I guarantee, like, either a woman left or he got ghosted or something. Like, you either go down two roads, right? Either your life spirals, you get angry and bitter, or you go in the other road is you just dive into like work and other stuff and like, you know, better yourself. I did the latter, because right now this is like my new improved stream setup. Yeah, you know, with new cutscene, maybe not cutscenes, layouts and stuff, and on PureTube, stuff like that, yeah. So, anyways, that's cool. I'm gonna try to raid somebody, which I'm gonna end it on PureTube. I'm still trying to figure out how all of this to be honest. Dun, dun, dun. So. Hey. Okay, I'm getting annoyed by people texting me, to be honest. In my phone sometimes. Some people don't allow rates, so let's see. Yep. Okay. Let's do this person. To raid. should work. I'm going to stop stream now.